couple of champions coming in, maybe not so much here for GME on their second ban, but they have at least taken away that Morgana that's just been a menace in the jungle, and have also decided to take away the Camille here on the side of LGTB.
And a bit surprised to see the Morgana taken away so quickly. Speaks that maybe these teams have been scouting each other out, and LGTB has been relying on that Morgana in some of their key matches potentially. Whereas I'm very happy to see the Seraphine ban coming out of LGTB here, as Seraphine is a highly contested pick across all of the roles for both of these teams, and certainly is something that you want to see Red Side banning.
We'll also see this Anivia come out here for us. So a couple of bans that have now come through in towards the jungle, in towards the midland. That ban that you were not seeing there for pick number 2 for GME has in fact been a volley bear. So a couple of junglers taken off the table, and now we'll round out our phase 1 bans here with a Fiora, and it's time to see what priority GME are putting on towards this first pick here for blue side.
And we do see that Anivia ban coming out, as you mentioned. LGTB will be playing their sub mid laner Kavos, and Kavos is well known for his Anivia play in the league, whereas GME will be playing their sub mid laner, sub bottom laner Outrage. And we see the Kindred coming through as the first pick for GME, signifying they're probably looking for a very aggressive early game position here. Going to be getting that League of Udyr player onto a really powerful early game pick to try and dominate LGTB with it.
Yeah, this could be really interesting. I mean, we also have Rumble on the table too, for as far as something that has been high priority in towards the jungle here. So the ability to be able to maybe mix some magic damage in towards the jungle here, if you're looking to bring anything out in towards maybe some of these solo lanes with AD, but instead going to be a very early Scion pickup here, likely going in towards that top lane here for us.
Scion may actually be flexed into the jungle. LGTB has been known to play
Oh, okay.
Scion in the jungle occasionally here, and the Scion into the Kindred is not actually a terrible matchup for the Scion, as the Scion is able to come up at about the same rate that the Kindred can. But the Kindred is really looking to have that aggressive mid lane priority here. So hopefully we will see GME pick up some kind of strong mid laner to pair with this Kindred to attack what is looking to be some pretty scaling defensive options from LGTB here with the pickup of the Senna and how powerful she is at scaling towards that late game with that infinite range scaling.
Varus, something that has certainly come in and out, but not going to be the pick. Last second switch over towards that Kog'Maw, and you've already mentioned it here before we got in towards this draft that you said, hey, listen, this player is subbing in right now for GME, loves to play as Kog'Maw, loves the on-hit, and not only does he have the Kog'Maw, but they also lock in that Lulu for that deadly combo down and towards the bot side.
We heard that Kiora was not able to play tonight, and instead Outrage will be playing. And Buggy and Outrage have been practicing this Kog'Maw Lulu bot lane for quite some time now. It is incredibly powerful. It's going to shred through just about anything that LGTB can throw down there, unless they have some particularly strong hard engage. And with the Senna moving into the support role and the Senna Jinx being paired up as their duo there, they will outrange this bottom lane in the early game. However, the sticking potential and the fighting potential of the Senna Jinx is just not going to be there compared to this Lulu.
Well, now let's have to take a look at some of the phase 2 bands that are going to play in here for us. And of course, the Scion, you mentioned a chance for it to go in towards the jungle here, perhaps, or still a chance that it would be flexed in towards the top lane. So, going to be difficult for GME to kind of pin down what they do, in fact, want to take away going in towards the second phase. But what we do know has come through, the Ornn, great engager, will be taken off the table here first.
Yeah, and the Ornn is absolutely something that you'd love to see paired with the Kog'Maw and the Kindred. GME definitely looking to pick up some kind of strong liner here with engage potential. Probably going to see Pachinki lean towards that Gnar if it doesn't get banned away here. Potentially the Aurelia or the Aatrox as well could be other picks. With the Scion off the table for them, they're definitely going to need to reach deep into their back pocket for a strong top lane pick. We see the Aurelia is taken off the table, so potentially going to see that knock for GME here.
Very likely could be the case. And that second ban looks like it is a Yasuo. So the first one, of course, that you do not see was a volley bear. The second one now being a Yasuo. Hopefully, GME able to lock in that last ban here, as it's been down to the wire the last couple of picks, and they were hovering the Karma earlier. This time, last second switch. Want to take away a couple of mid laners here. So I like this Twisted Fate, someone who can certainly affect the map, especially when getting that level 6 and being able to just move around with the jungler. So we'll take a bit of that pressure, at least out of that mid lane here, with a couple of bans.
Yeah, a little bit surprised to see the TF taken out here as the Zoe was left up and immediately taken away. Zoe being a mid laner heavily prioritized by both of these mid laners from LGTB and GME, and having a massive amount of presence on the map, particularly in amateur level play where vision control isn't necessarily the greatest. Zoe can have a huge impact with sleepy trouble bubbles coming out of the fog of war. Here we're going to see Zoe utilized to protect the Jinx and fuel those Scion engages. As we see the Malphite come through for GME, and the Malphite is really going to be that strong liner that they needed to keep Kindred safe. So we'll see what they have in mind to pick into the Zoe to get that Kindred ready for invades.
Well, it's pretty clear what GME are looking to do right now with their composition. I mean, it's really about getting this Kog'Maw and Lulu online. And then when we get towards the mid and late game, well, not only do they have an extra damage threat here with some great wave clear on the Victor, but they also got some good engage and setup with the Malphite, peel back with the Kindred and the Lamb's Respite. So a couple of different options. But now we'll take a look and see what Let's Get This Bread is looking to kind of round out their composition here with their very last pick.
The Victor into the Zoe is going to be a bit of an interesting lane up there. Victor typically does not take control of that lane until he has his first escort upgrade in order to make his laser shock and really take control of that lane. Before then, Zoe is typically able to dominate with a couple key pedal stars being landed in the early game, just opening up that lane for her. So Kindred may not be able to utilize mid lane as an avenue for success when trying to invade until the later stages of the game come through. Meanwhile, we see the Kale locked in as the last pick for LGTB, and the Kale into Malphite matchup is going to be very heavily Kale sided as soon as she hits that level 6 for the range upgrade. Before that point, the Malphite is going to have an easy job dominating the Kale. But after that point, Kale should be able to just steamroll through that lane, and it does mean that we are going to see the Scion in the jungle. So
Yeah.
the scaling is going to be absolutely massive for LGTB here. Uh, really excited to see what they're able to do when they have this much scaling power.
That's really the question, right? When we're talking about getting in towards the later stages of the game, and if you can get through this early game, which when you're looking at, what GME do have here for themselves, it's not like they have a super fantastic early game. They're also looking to scale a little bit here with this Kog'Maw and Lulu, get some items on towards this Victor as well. So both teams playing, what could be a bit of a scaling game, but looking at maybe this Kindred, who might be farming a little bit slower compared to a lot of the top meta junglers right now, but is going to be able to have some impact in towards the early game. And I think the really good news here when you are a jungler coming in towards a game like this is there's not actually a whole lot of escapes for some of these actual carry champions here. So I think I'm interested to see, like you've been talking about, this Scion that might be able to find some early favor, might be able to show us, what this pick can in fact do when it is roaming in and around the jungle and starts collecting some of that XP, getting that gold, and really surprising people with those unstoppable onslaughts coming almost just out of fog of war to kind of line up some of these ganks as well. It could be very devastating to deal with here for the side of GME.
Fortunately, they will have that sound cue when the Scion comes charging, but what are you going to do? Dodge every time you hear the sound cue go
Exactly.
off? The roar goes off. We must run. But meanwhile, that Kindred, yeah, like you mentioned, the Kindred is going to have a lot of open space here.
Yes.
The domination's definitely going to come through in top lane until level 6, and that may be enough for Kindred to make her way into the jungle. And if she's able to get into the jungle where Scion is trying to come up, I think Kindred will definitely rip apart Scion with that range advantage. 525 range. That's a pretty big deal when you're coming up against a melee champion. And if the Kindred gets going, this is going to be disastrous for LGTB.
Yeah, shutting this down, I think is certainly going to be the key. And I mean, playing around crabs and getting some of your marks still could be pretty difficult when we're talking about, what this Zoe can in fact do. Because I mean, the Zoe feels like she always has kill pressure, no matter how much health or she really has. It just takes one bubble to really chunk your opponent out, or one bubble to actually secure a kill. So being able to play around this, looking at what Chase might be able to bring out on towards this Victor, he did in fact pick this in towards it. So maybe some eyes on him coming in towards this game, but I think the big key is going to be down and towards this bot side. I mean, when you're looking at these compositions, like one of the most annoying bot lanes right now that is kind of rose back in towards the meta because of those recent buffs here on towards the Kog'Maw is just going to be so difficult when you have someone like this who's going to be able to get some levels, maybe even go even in towards the lane, and then actually just be so devastating as we get later and later into it. So maybe some focus down in towards this bot side here for the side of LGTB to make sure that this Kog'Maw has maybe a delayed time frame before he really comes online and starts to be as good as we see him when he gets some items.
I think the one place that really isn't highlighted as effectively as the rest of the map here is just going to be that top lane where we have the Kale, we have the Malphite. We know the power of Malphite in team fights. If that unstoppable force is unleashed on a grouped up chunk of enemies, it is going to mean disaster for your team. However, the KL can farm up here pretty safely after level 6 and
Sure.
end up just scaling into an absolute machine. And hopefully, the KL ultimate, along with the Scion, be enough of a front line to get LGTB through fights. Because otherwise, Lamb's Respite coming out of the Kindred is going to make it so it doesn't matter how much DPS you have, unreal levels of scaling, you're just not going to be able to kill anything. They will be able to just rip you apart during the duration of that ultimate.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was a bit of the breakdown for what we will see for this very first game, but it's a best of 3 series. It's a play-in for Open Unstoppable. Only one team is moving through to that quarterfinals, and it's going to start with this game number 1 to see who can start off on the right foot. But before we get into the game, we're going to throw things to a quick break. Don't go too far. We come back. Game 1, it's here. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Open Unstoppable as we got Let's Get This Bread up against Grand Museum Exhibit. It's myself, Visions here, joined with Midget Cow as we get ourselves in towards game number 1, and we've been hyping up this Scion pick to see exactly what it's going to offer in towards this composition and this early game, and well, we'll get our answers here very, very soon for us.
Both of these teams taking up some solid lines of skirmish here, making sure they cover all the entrances and not allow anyone in without getting information out of it. This is going to be favoring the Kindred for sure. The Scion is definitely looking to make some kind of cheesy maneuvers typically, and typically when you pick that Scion jungle, you want to make some kind of move into the enemy jungle with an invade. So we'll see if they have a late invade going here, or if they're just going to maintain the status quo and make sure that they protect their own jungle to start.
Well, Lulu looking to maybe try and find some information. I think Kagura might have seen that Scion as he did, in fact, walk back over towards his blue buff. So, might be some early information. Both AD carries actually just a bush away from each other here, as Minions could be spawning very, very soon. And now it looks like maybe the leash should, in fact, come on through, unless Outrage is looking to do something a little outrageous himself, but we'll just back away. Go help this Kindred. Both junglers look to be starting on the same side of the map here as we start things off.
And notably, PlatRU is going to make sure he picks up that last plant that spawns right next to his jungle camp, and make sure that no shenanigans are going to be happening utilizing that blast plant. Sometimes some teams will make some small maneuvers with that, try to pick up a little something in the early game, but we're just going to see some standard laning, some standard jungling. We've got Scion heading over to his Grump, likely going to be doing a full clear of his jungle there. He did start with his Soul Furnace in order to make sure that he started stacking that as much as possible, getting that +6 health per camp. And we'll see Kindred is looking like they're going to opt to skip the Krugs camp, going right to those Raptors, probably going for a 3 camp clear, and potentially looking to open up by Scale, who's looking like they're pushing in the top.
Right now, level 2 will come through first for Outrage and AP Buggy, as they're able to maybe zone away their opponents here for a very quick moment, look to build up whatever pressure they can, and as the levels come through, this lane becomes more and more difficult to really deal with here. Meanwhile, top lane, this is really probably just about trying to stay alive if you're the Malphite, see if you can maybe get some early trades. Chunk if you can. The Kale is going to be pretty weak pre-6, but there is the level 2 now. We'll see Senna and the Jinx just look to trade the best they possibly can, but the trade's not going their way, as they're going to be bullied out here for now.
The power of Guardian really shining through here as AP Buggy is able to abuse that shield, abuse that early pressure, chunk out both PlatRU and Launch, and make sure that Outrage stays at maximum HP in order to get that Kog'Maw the space they need in order to farm up and become an absolute machine. Already built up a sizable CS lead here in that bottom lane. I'm probably going to be able to maintain it while pushing it under the team. So you see the first gank come through in the top lane.
Yeah, we will indeed see this come through. League of Udyr going to be able to get the flash out. Doesn't have to blow anything in return. So that was honestly set up there beforehand with a nice freeze there for the Malphite. Forces the Kale to stay in lane, and now things will be a lot more dangerous for her up in that top side. Oh. This might just be a kill. Greeting for the ward. League of Udyr says, thank you very much. I'll collect my first blood and my 400 gold.
Unfortunately, I do not believe Kindred managed to pick up a mark. They never shifted over their mark of the Kindred onto the Kale there. So League of Udyr sitting at that 0 mark rate. However, excellent job sticking around, picks up the kill on the regank, and sets up their Malphite for what's going to be a large amount of success as they are able to just stabilize that lane and really get themselves.
I think this is also a lot of what we talked about too, right? With the Scion in towards the early game not being able to really control too much tempo here, is actually going to get double crabs. Now, might be able to trade back a Gromp if he does decide to stay and keep it, but this is going to be actually some heavy trading down towards the bot side. I'm going to hold that thought as Jinx and Senna both taken low here. Some's available, so if things do get dicey, still got to heal, but just toying with fire at the moment is going to be both these players. And now towards the mid lane, League of Udyr makes his second appearance, dodges the bubble, lands some damage, and will go forward one more time. Tanks the tower shot, but is able to come away with another flash.
Gabe was almost getting that return kill there. Didn't want to commit the ignite, just wanted to try and shove off League of Udyr after they pushed into the tower. Really aggressive play from this Kindred. Very happy to see that. They managed to pick up their first mark from the bottom lane Crab after losing the top lane Crab to Scion. The Scion is doing an excellent job making this its spending on ganks costly. The Scion has picked up a solid 2, maybe 3 camp advantage, which is going to mean that they are getting a huge amount of health from their Soul Furnace. They're at 184 bonus health from Soul Furnace already, which is definitely going to offset the scaling advantage that comes through from the Kindred as they snowball these marks. We'll see if the Kindred is able to make their way up to these Raptors in time to pick up that mark. I do believe the Siren is going to beat them to it handily, though.
Does in fact look to be the case. Chase really low on mana right now in an awkward situation because he wants to get the wave shoved in, but is not really going to have an opportunity maybe to do so without feeling some of this poke, and is not going to be able to trade back, at least for the time being. Back towards this bot side. CS lead being built up here for Outrage as he's finding himself in a very comfortable position early on with this Kog'Maw, exactly where you would want to be. Wards going down. This Kindred, who's been finding a lot of pressure on towards the map, is making things difficult for the solo lanes to also kind of respond. So far, so good, at least coming in towards this first game right now for GME and towards the early stages.
Yeah, we see first backs are coming through already. Kagwa has managed to pick up Berserker Greaves as their first back. And a quick pause comes through. Rage has had a slight internet issue. In the meantime, the Berserker Greaves have also come through for the Kindred. That is going to give them a massive amount of map presence as they are sitting boots tier 2 compared to Scion's Bommy's Cinder. Bommy's Cinder going to massively increase their clear speed, but not going to help them get places faster. So Kindred is going to be able to beat them to the punch as they try to rotate around the map and make more plays. That said, most of these items that are coming through for the supports are just small pieces of health that are being built in order to make sure that they can survive these landing phases. It does look like with the double Ruby Crystal and the Grasp Beyond 9 that Senna may be going for the old school kind of Black Cleaver Frozen Mallet-esque build where they just look to build up a lot of health and then rely on their passive for scaling its stats. Definitely an interesting take to see in the current era of League of Legends, where games are typically a lot more fast-paced and actually have things that don't scale super hard. Uh, the entirety of this composition is intent on scaling pretty hard, so we'll see what they try to do with who gets to scale the most and who gets to scale the least to hit peaks and valleys through scaling opportunities.
And I actually got a bit of a question here for you, Michikawa. So we're looking at this early game right now. Gold lead even, not too much of a difference. Just CS kind of going to even out that 400 gold that ends up going over towards this Kindred. But looking at this Sion, when you're feeling this pressure of two solo lanes already, without their flash, you might feel the need to try and cover them because you have great engage here up and towards the top side. You have this Victor that can follow up on a lot of CC and provides tons of damage on towards the Zoe. So, like, what are you looking at for as far as damage control with this Sion, where you are farming up, you're getting close towards that level 6? You're looking to try and also add some of this gank pressure in towards these lanes? You're just simply looking to cover for your lanes? Like, where's your mindset at when you're thinking of this Sion in the jungle right now?
One of the big things I'd like to see from this Scion is hitting that level 6. You mentioned Visions. He's at about halfway there. The Krugs is going to get him a little bit closer. He won't be able to hit level 6 even if he went to his ground camp here. So he's either going to need to try and steal some experience from a lane, or he's going to have to wait for that second round of buffs and hit it off of his second blue buff, which would be about standard timing for these laners. That said, he has built up close to 300 bonus health from his Soul Furnace. That does put him at about 1400 HP, which is, realistically speaking, about double the amount of health that anyone else has in the game at this point, which that alone can allow you to make some pretty aggressive plays and potentially just look for some sort of aggression before you even hit that level 6 point, potentially having your Kale shove in the Malphite, who's not yet level 6 as well, and just dive him under the tower.
That's kind of where my head's at too, where I feel like you need to do something at least to relieve some of this pressure because, as I said, Flash is down, and not only that, but your Kog'Maw Lulu lane that's up against your Jinx Senna is finding a lot of favor right now in some of these early trades. You can see a CS lead that's been built up here, 2 waves actually in advantage of Outrage, on a very comfortable champion that he's able to kind of come away with these small little leads and actually make these advantages happen is going to result in towards that very terrifying late game that we keep hyping up. And we're hyping it up because there's a lot of really strong late game champions that we currently have in towards the draft for both of these squads. And I think the biggest factor here for both of them is making sure that, one, you can get there without being down too much gold so you can still work yourself back in towards the game. At least that's what I'm kind of looking at for both of these squads here at the moment. Now, for anyone that doesn't know and is just tuning in, we are in fact without Outrage, who's been off to a very nice start. Unfortunately, this internet has betrayed him in this very unfortunate moment where he is really just dictating a lot of the pacing down in towards the bot lane right now. I mean, there's an Infertile up, there's lots to play for. So curious to see how this kind of continues going throughout this bot lane here for us. But I do believe we are going to send things to a break. We'll get an update on Outrage. We do apologize, ladies and gentlemen, but we come back. We'll get right back in towards game number 1. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. We apologize about the delay, but it looks like Outrage has now fixed all of his internet issues for now. Let's hope that's also the case going forward as we look back, zone in on the map, and see exactly everything that's been taking place. And it looks like that's a nice flash, and no flash available for Kavos, which means a solo kill comes on through. 2 kills now picked up for League of Udyr.
Kindred is really starting to just take off in this game, as with the 2 kills in their back pocket, Circle Greaves in the inventory, looking at getting that challenging smite on soon. League of Udyr is in excellent position to just utilize this Kindred and rip open this game. Potentially going to be looking for this blue buff invade after picking up the Scuttle Crab. Might be seeing a team fight off the back of that. We have first buys coming through for mostly everyone. Lost chapters for both mid laners. Zerker Greaves for the Kog'Maw, Zerker Greaves for the Kindred. Going to be picking up that dragon, utilizing these first buys, and potentially looking for this fight.
Well, right now, it looks like we might have something breaking out in towards the river. That first dragon will be secured, so locking in the Infernal, but a root does come through there. Followed by the Shadow Embrace. A big lockup. The heal is out, and Outrage will just barely escape with his life in the 2 versus 2.
Yeah, we see this fight just really going to buoy the momentum that GMA has in this game and potentially set them up for a really strong finish here.
Well, we just saw a kill in towards the mid lane, and now Sion looking to make his very first appearance in the game. The ultimate is available. Here comes the unstoppable onslaught, able to lock down the Kindred. No Lamb's Respite will follow. AP Buggy and Outrage, they have to get away, but the zap, the snipe, that is beautiful. Coming away with another one, a 2-for-0 to respond in the bot lane.
This is going to be absolutely huge. GMA was looking like they're going to be able to run away with this game, and now LGTB has found their foothold. The Jinx is going to be able to stabilize that gold lead that Outrage put forth on the Kog'Maw, and we're going to see a real game on our hands as LGTB is eventually just going to scale out of control for GME here, as we do see like, up the top lane we have Myopia on the Kale, absolutely massive amount of CS lead up there, and just crazy amounts of gold is coming through on the side of LGTB as they put up a 1,000 gold lead here.
So definitely a good start. And Chase is now going to feel a lot less pressure after coming out with a kill, and his Kindred finding a couple of ganks early, but that Zoe bubble comes whizzing by. Chase able to show the moves and flash some of that footwork here as he's just happily catching waves, farming up, doing the best he possibly can right now, coming away with a little bit of a CS lead. This Sion, who's been waiting to make a move, now finds a couple of assists. Will be able to hold on towards this nice CS lead as well over top of this Kindred, so not too bad of a start, at least early.
Right, and we see Sion coming in for yet another really powerful gank, trying to shut down this Malphite.
Bot lane, a lot of damage coming through. Outrage, look at this Kog'Maw, man. Lulu Kog'Maw, if you missed it in the past, well, welcome back, because it can just be so oppressive. I mean, walking up, feeling it, but top lane now, here comes our 2 versus 2. We'll see if the damage lands, and, well, there's the unstoppable force, able to lock it down, but Zombie Sion trades one back. It could be a second. The Lamb's Respite is good, but is it good enough? Able to get the heal. Myopia looking for the shutdown, and we'll be able to bring it in there. Nice 2 versus 2, as it will be a big dub here for Let's Get This Bread.
Yeah, Let's Get This Bread really putting on a show here as they start to strangle GME. All of the leads that GME have been able to put up before are now starting to dwindle as Let's Get This Bread puts together an offensive and really utilizes the power of their champions to help them secure these kills, makes a couple mechanical plays here and there, and puts on their dancing shoes to outplay their opponents.
Look how aggressive they are. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Back in we go. We're all synced back up here and good to go for as far as the production side of things. And well, as we scope back in on what's been happening here so far for us, Mitch Cow, it looks like it is a nice goal that's been built up here for the side of let's get this spread. And they might be looking for more as they're starting to bounce back in towards this bot lane.
Absolutely. We see this bot lane is really starting to struggle now with Platinum's Jinx being able to put up the same amount of damage that Outrage's Kog'Maw is able to put up in this early game, leading to Outrage not being able to continue to build their CS lead anymore, and now struggling to actually lane very effectively into the Jinx due to the power that Jinx has when she starts to put together those items and starts to put together those range that she has from her switcheroo. Meanwhile, in the top lane, we do see that Pachinki and Myopia have been trading back and forth, and Myopia has put together a 40 CS lead. Myopia's Kale well known in the circuit for their potential carrying.
2 versus 2, it's going down. Chase able to come out with a kill. The TPs now will come on through. Kale and Malphite both come in towards the fight, but will anything really come out of it? Unstoppable forces available, but doesn't look like anything else will take place here for us as another death does unfortunately fall on towards the Zoe.
And Kavos coming in as a substitute player for Let's Get This Bread, replacing DDY Lopes. Not quite on the same page as the rest of the team, it seems. Not necessarily performing as well as we'd like them to see. 0-3-0 with 67 CS compared to the Chase with 102 CS 2-0-0. Really would like to see the Zoe start to put together a little bit more in laning aspect. Hopefully start finding themselves some space to actually lane with. Maybe get some extra wards down so they're not just constantly bombarded from the side. Just stay a little bit safer from Lee Woodier's kill.
Chase starting to become a monster, and he might just be even bigger. There's the knock up in Chase. He says, thank you very much, guys. I'll take kill number 3, and that also means that second dragon likely to go over here as they're just going to have all the pressure in the world.
Yeah, and Kavos, we mentioned, really needs to get some of those wards down, really needs to get some vision up. Comes back, ties again instantly. Meanwhile,
oh man, the flash has to come out. The face check is there, and it's not just one flash, it's a second. The bot lane overextends a little too far. 4-man stack now on towards the ocean, as this will be that second dragon secured.
And GME is doing an excellent job on the objective front, making sure they secure both of the first 2 dragons by 14 minutes, so they will be looking at a potential 22-ish minute soul. Their soul point is going to be coming up relatively soon now. So if they're able to continue to put together these advantages and continue to keep Chase's Victor at this level of power that he's at, where he's already finishes Luden's Tempest, along with Zeke's Sunfire Aegis on the Scion. These are the first 2 mythics that have been completed in this game.
Top lane, though, little trading happening here for us, and now it might just, well, lead out in towards the bot lane, as we'll see a bit of an engage start up, but nothing can really follow, so everyone will just back away, clear some vision, but now top laners without flashes, making some more laners even vulnerable, or more vulnerable, that is, going in towards his future minutes.
And Myopia's Kale really starting to put on strength. Nearly killing Pachinki on the Malphite, despite the Mercury Treads and double Ruby Crystals being built up. Already has her Nashor's Tooth, looking to put together potentially a Rift Maker to go alongside that, or some other form of damage as she is trying to rip apart this Malphite and just break open that top side of the map. Because on the rest of the map, GME has been putting up a strong front throughout this game, off the backs of mostly League Woodier and Chase's Victor, which have been having stellar performances so far.
The objective control really has been stellar on top of it. 2 dragons, a Rift Herald now to play with. That will, of course, be actually held from Chase as he grabs that for himself and maybe looks for an opportunity to try and crack open a first tower. That first blood still very much on the table. Outrage and AP Buggy look to reset and get themselves back out and towards the map here, maybe even with that very first mythic item. The bot lane comes through, tries to stop that back, and actually dangerously close. Summoners were available, but Outrage able to at least get out with his life, and now the wave will simply be pushed in, but top lane pings are coming down. League of Udyr is here. There's the unstoppable force once again. There is no ultimate just yet, and the shutdown is collected, but that is a very tanky sign. They're not going to be able to make any more moves, but they still come out with another kill on towards this Kindred.
Just making it look easy has just everywhere they go, they have picked up a kill, whether it's been top lane, mid lane, bottom lane. Part of 6 out of 7 total kills, excellent kill participation coming out of their Kindred. Now they're being donated to the top lane wave. They are clearly the carry force for this team, and they are looking to make their name known.
Gotta give some credit over towards the bot lane, though, here for the side of Let's Get This Spread. They had a very slow start towards the game, down 2 waves at one point in time, and that is still roughly the case, but you come away with a first turret, and now maybe that second turret about the drop here for the side of GME. Rift Herald popped in towards the mid lane. No real support here for Chase, but that should absolutely crack it. It does. That will open up the map here a ton for GME as they move forward.
Yeah, and it is definitely worth noting here, with both Kavos and Outrage being sub players being brought in here, Outrage has performed exceptionally well so far. 0-0-0 on the Kog'Maw, despite the amount of attention that has been thrown down at that lane. His first tier turret being taken down, but not actually dying a single time despite that amount of attention. Whereas we have Kavos on the Zoe, 0-4-0, already lost their mid lane score, just really not showing up that well from the substitutes perspective, and shows the amount of attention these teams have been paying to their substitutes, where GME has been practicing with Outrage just in case, definitely intending to keep that player as a part of their team, whereas Kavos has not necessarily been getting that same attention from his team, not necessarily been able to shine as much.
Well, we got another dragon coming up in a minute, and I would assume at this point in time you might be looking to try and match it. Your Jinx just got an item, but Zoe has to flash. That's the real flash. League of Udyr wants more, goes back through with the Dance of Arrows, but can't finish off the kill, however, gets the summoner out.
Absolutely, and huge crit coming out there with the Kraken Slayer already online, and a single cloak of agility in the inventory for League of Udyr. Manages to land one of those on Kavos. Half his mark disappears instantly. Definitely going to be a massive force with this dragon fight right around the third dragon on the board for GME, putting them on Soul Point afterwards. We're going to be seeing everyone come to this team fight and look like, and see Myopia getting their back in, picking up a Leech Beer in time for the team fight. Zeke is looking to bully in the river, get that vision down. Really like seeing these. Oh my goodness.
That happened so fast. Completely obliterated, but will it cost him his life? League of Udyr has to try and get out. The TP will come through to try and match. Unstoppable Force is available. Both top laners are in the fight, but Zoe is not here. So a 4 versus 5. Will they decide to try and move in towards the river and take this fight, especially in the choke? I feel like, of all things, this Malphite would be dreaming that they move in here, but the dragon goes over. Everyone will be pushed out. They'll even get a little damage down and back and push them away as they move back in towards the lanes.
An absolutely free dragon off the back of League of Udyr, just bodying Zoe in the side lane. Evaporates, just completely evaporates out of the field of existence. And we're going to see the Kindred picking up their 4th mark here. That is going to activate the first tier of their passive. They will be gaining that 75 additional attack range, and at this point, that is a very real champion. 575 attack range, going to be able to challenge. And
oh man, there's the Unstoppable Force once again. We'll see the Divine Judgment come through, and the flash might actually be enough in League of Udyr. Not actually going to be able to flash over the wall for that last auto, so getting out, Myopia going to be very happy about that one.
Chase is just wandering on up there. He wants blood. Blood the water. He's a shark. Ooh. Things are starting to heat up here as we have the Baron has been spawned. Potentially looking at taking this objective. Probably not. All of your camps are up. It's a little bit difficult to take that without some consistent damage, and Kog'Maw is nowhere to be seen at the moment. Simply farming up that bottom lane. We have not seen much from AP Buggy and Outrage since the laning phase has ended.
It's true.
But Kog'Maw does have the Kraken Slayer, is getting closer to that second item to add to it. Will become a force to be reckoned with. Has 182 farm, topped only by Myopia's Kale. Myopia has been playing splendidly in this game. Very close to their Riftmaker. With the Riftmaker and Gnasher's Tooth, that Kale may be able to make some action happen, even into the face of this incredibly fed Kindred and incredibly fed. Ooh.
AP Buggy Almost a little too far forward. The decimating smash just falling short, but they might just be locked up. The Jinx is low. Outrage and just a turret. Finds an easy shutdown on towards the Jinx. It might be a second, but the flash over the wall is good. The Scion gets out, but Chase able to deal the damage with his jungler. They come away with a 2-4-0, and they want more. Everyone zones them away, and now a chance for even an early Baron just 21 minutes into the game.
AP Bucky smells something a little fishy, backs out just in time, and that might just, oh no, it's such disaster for LGTB. Caught out in choke points, Kale tries to flank without the Divine Judgment up. Absolute disaster. Going to lead to this Baron is probably going to be able to allow GME to push in and take quite a few structures. There's a lot of standing gold around the map, both the tier 1 turret from top lane and all of the tier 2 turrets in every lane are standing, meaning that GME is poised to break this gold lead that they have of about 1,000. It's potentially 3, 4, or even 5,000 if they're able to take down all of these structures through some effective pushing.
This is a very good position to be in overall. You're on Soul Point. That's going to be coming up in 2 minutes. And yeah, like you said, during all of this time now, you can look to utilize these sidelets, come away with a lot of turrets, build that gold lead up here for yourself, as they're going to take away a couple of camps before they decide to start doing that and creating the macro on towards the map. We'll see Kale just trying to get maybe a shove before having to respond towards what could be a mid lane or bot lane push. And Outrage and AP Buggy you making that move. Hopefully Outrage is not legged out here again for us. Is not moving at the moment, and it looks like we should be okay. So that is good news. League of Udyr, though, makes his move very aggressively. The exhaust is down. Forced to use the Lamb's Respite. Will be able to come out here with the heal, but the damage is way too much. It might just be a second. Chase trying to come away with some kills. Gets the double. Can it be a triple kill? Chase doing everything he can. Stalls for his teammates, and now Outrage also here to start mowing them down. The flash is in. There is the artillery, and it finds a third. A 1-for-3 here in favor of GME.
What a fantastic fight. Chase really just obliterates them. This Victor has built up Looted Tempest and the Zani's Hourglass already. Just walks up, cuts through Senna like a hot knife through butter, rips apart their team, and then gets away scot-free with the movement speed off of his Siphon power. Just makes it look easy.
That is a great position now to be in, as you can actually look to start moving up in towards the lane, but they don't really make fast usage of the kills. You can see everyone here to respond, and you could just see maybe a counter engage come up as soon as that ultimate is available for Scion. That's their only real window at actually getting on top of any of these guys, but you can clearly see what they're looking to do. They want to set up here for this dragon and see if they can lock in the soul.
With 7 seconds remaining on the dragon and a 4v4 scenario, potentially a 5v5 scenario coming through, there is almost no vision on the map for anyone. Rocket almost steals, but not quite going to land. And the vision on this from both teams has been pretty subpar. Really not happy to see wards just completely missing on the face of the map. A couple defensive wards are starting to come out from LGTB here with some wards around the mid lane, but these are really not going to help you, and they're why you're getting fucked and why you're not making it to these objectives. Honestly, why your opposing team has Mountain Souls, because you've never had any vision at the point in time, despite trying to scale up in order to challenge these objectives in ways that don't get you picked apart.
Yeah, and just to add on towards that point, a huge part of that is because K-Boss has also been struggling in this mid lane. So with that constant priority that's just been in favor of Chase, they've not even really had the option to do so, as you touched on there, for the first couple of Dragons, making it just now a problem as the Mountain Soul is secured. That shield is going to just stack on towards that Lulu, who's already going to be putting up the shields here, making it that much more difficult to find kills, and already doing the fundamentals, moving in, clearing out the vision, trying to lay down some of their own. But with no Baron and no Dragon on towards the map here, there isn't actually a whole lot happening, and this is now your chance to also get towards the late game if you are, in fact, let's get this spread. Your Jinx is sitting on 2 items, your Zoe about an item and a half, you're working towards that Zanya. So if you can lock in a couple more, get this Jinx towards 3 items, there is still a chance to move back in towards this game, especially with nothing really being pressured for as far as towers at the moment.
Absolutely, and one of the big things that we're seeing here is the snowballing of items is coming through for the side of GME, with the Ginsu's Rageblade picked up by the Kog'Maw and the Collector picked up for League of Udyr. Both of these are going to allow them to put out immense amounts of damage, definitely going to be able to keep up, if not out damage their counterparts on the opposing side of LGTV, despite the scaling that is coming through. And really just want to touch on how the Kindred has absolutely broken open this game. We talked about in the draft phase that Kindred into the Scion. Scion is going to do an excellent job scaling. We can see that the Scion has put forth about 1,100 total bonus health on their Soul Furnace, equating to almost two Warmog's armors right there. However, the Kindred utilized that space the Scion gave her to rip open the game, take every single dragon, farm up, gank up, and really just put the brakes on every plan that LGTV has put forth at this point. And now we're looking at a potential 4-1 situation where we have the victor in the 1, the rest of the team in the 4, looking to just push in and get down these outer structures and start knocking on those inhibitor towers.
Oh, and you can even see it there with the Battlestar coming in. Doesn't even crack the shield here on towards the Malphite. A couple of question mark things come through here for the side of GME, as they probably weren't expecting that to be the case either. Just goes to show how far behind Zoe really is and how difficult it can be to find any damage on towards anyone who is not a squishy target. But a bit of a group up does in fact come through. The wave clear has been great so far though. And that's some damage. Outrage not caught in the best of spots. The wild growth is used just to make sure Outrage does not lose his life. Everyone groups up here besides Chase as they're looking to see if they maybe come away with a tier 2 in the mid lane.
Yeah, and one thing I will give credit to LGTB for is they have started to put together some vision. They have some defensive vision in their side of the jungle. They will be able to approach this Baron that is spawning right now with no fear, as they know where the members of GME cannot be in their jungle. This is going to allow them to potentially challenge us, but no, they're going to back off. They know that if they fight into the Mountain Sold Up team, they are in dire straits. They really want to get that level 16 on Myopia scale. They really want Myopia to just pick them up, put him on his back, and carry them to the promised land.
Every single objective gone over towards GME, and now they want to group as 5. Watch for the Malphite to set up what could be a dive for us. The wild growth is now back and available. Battlestar gonna come on through, but here comes the Scion looking for the unstoppable onslaught. Not gonna be able to find that damage on towards anyone. Stops it short, and it could have been an engage here. Outrage also standing on the traps, locked down with the CC, but still with the Baron. They're gonna continue to pressure. Outrage with the flash forward, taking up the tower as well. The man has no fear, and now Kavos way too far forward. He will lose his life. One is down, and they're going to continue to try and pressure for more.
Outrage is just playing with absolute dominance, walking forward, does not care about this, is not care about champions, walks up, takes some damage. That's okay. They'll just keep spinning on you, and you'll just keep taking more.
Very difficult to deal with any kind of defense. Down a member. Anytime the ultimate can come through, an excellent flash. Myopia gets away with the life, still has that divine judgment, but Outrage, he's just putting on an absolute clinic. He's running at them with the damage. It can't be stopped whatsoever. Locked down there for a quick moment, but the Baron, the pressure, the range, you name it, all too much to deal with right now for the side of let's get this bread, and there might be no bread to get at the end of this game number 1 as they're still looking for more. Chase collects kill number 7, and Outrage is just moving forward like he doesn't take any damage, but finally damage will come to him. The shutdown is there for Myopia. The Jinx also getting some resets. Staying in this game right now is going to be let's get this bread, but barely hanging on by a thread. Looking for the re-engage. There's the Scion. They find the knock-up on towards 1, but the Jinx is down. Chase, he's dealing all of the damage. Myopia might just fall as well, but into the stasis with the Lamb's Respite. Will be able to play his life for a quick moment, but the Kindred is online. If one AD carry drops, you still gotta worry about a second, and there is the ace for GME.
Jimmy is taking this one all the way to the moon. Gonna be putting down LGTB for this first game, as the lone member Kavos on the Zoe is alive and will soon potentially just be dead. Oh no. Oh, it's awful. I don't even know if we can show this anymore.
Oh man. Oh baby. GME to the moon, as you say, Midget Cow. That was just an absolute clinic. Run it down mid in the final moments. The range, the Lulu shielding, just the complete no fear here for the side of Outrage, just running into them. feeling like he can just honestly put out a ton of damage. And if they're going to commit, then they're going to lose their lives because you have so many different carries to try and focus and take down that at times it feels too much. And Chase comes away with a flawless game there for us in that first one, 9-0-6, finding just one heck of a game to come in here with that victor.
Absolutely. Chase and League of Udyr putting on a clinic for how to utilize your early game advantages and just rip apart an enemy team. We see the Victor, as you mentioned, flawless game, not a single death to his name, really just destroyed in that mid lane. We'll see if they're allowed to get that pick again or if that will be added to the bans list coming into this second game. And the Kindred coming a little bit out of left field for League of Vood here, but really just playing it immaculately, ripping open that early game with it.
Really was. I mean, found so many ganks, and a lot of them came on towards that top lane. Myopia, I'm sure, a little bit frustrated about that. Tried to carry in the end, but just was not online enough to do so with her teammates. And that means that game number one, it's in the books. It's done. And that will be GME that come away with it. They only need one more to advance towards that playoff bracket and get themselves a chance to fight in towards that quarterfinals and keep this streak going here for them. But maybe we'll get some more here from Let's Get This Bread. But for now, ladies and gents, we're going to throw things to a quick break. Don't go too far when we come back. Game number 2 on the horizon. And welcome back, everyone, as we get ourselves in towards game number 2 for Open Unstoppable between Let's Get This Bread and Grand Museum Exhibit. The first game went over towards GME, and now we get ourselves lined up for the draft going in towards game number 2.
We see already the Victor ban coming through for LGTB. They have had enough of Trace's Victor as he went deathless and unstoppable in the last game, and the Kindred ban from League of Udyr. LGTB said, "We saw these last game. We're not going to see them again." That was a really bad. And
Yeah, looked like they were struggling a little bit there for us, Midget Cow, with those picks, right? It looked like it was a little difficult for them to kind of get any kind of a grasp on towards the game. So I can see the changes coming through, and now we can see obviously a lot more coming in with the Camille, the Jinx, and Morgana, as well as the Volibear rounding things out here very quickly.
some really strong bans coming through. The Jinx is going to be a new ban as well. LGTB definitely had an excellent performance with the Jinx for Plat RU, and we will see the Galio picked up as Lil Wanch and Kavos have swapped positions coming into this game too. Kavos will be playing that support position, and Lil Wanch will be playing mid lane. And Lil Wanch really only plays Galio in the mid lane, so securing that pick first is a top priority. We also see the Seraphine fall through all three of the first three picks, despite it being an incredibly contested pick by these teams throughout the regular season.
Yeah, this is interesting. Do you want to get some hard CC in towards that bottom lane? Looks like the answer is yes. So now looking to put at least a Seraphine down in towards the bot side, still available in towards the mid lane if we do in fact see it for us. But we are seeing the same run back here this time around for game number 2, the Kog'Maw and Lulu. It was so oppressive last game, and they want to run it back to see if they can come away with a 2-0 with it here.
I will point out that the Kog'Maw and Lulu did lose their first originally to Lil Wanch and Plat RU. Plat RU going to be on that Samira, an absolute beast of a 100 carry here as we see the Seraphine come through as expected. And Samira Rel, there is a lot of power in this duo. This is definitely a duo that can take it to the Kog'Maw Lulu and beat them up before Kog'Maw can get those items online. Last game, we saw that Outrage just took his Kog'Maw and ran at them.
Yeah.
He just pressed the W key in their general direction and then just kept running and did an excellent job. This game, Plat RU said, "No, I'm going to play Samira and I'm going to spin in your face. You're going to have no chance." So we'll see.
Really does want to bring that, right to him. And if the Rel gets on top of that Kog'Maw ever, then the Samira obviously really easy to follow up with it and kind of layer a lot of that CC there for us. But we look towards phase 2 bans. Looks like another no ban. So we'll get confirmation on what that is. Looks like they take away the TF again here. So GME really trying to make sure they have no pressure in the mid lane to be able to maybe affect this Kog'Maw Lulu. That Seraphine was picked up at the end of the draft as we were talking about there for us as well. And now some top lane bans starting to fall on in as we will see a Fiora taken off the table.
And it definitely seems like LGTB does not want to play against the Fiora. They banned it away in the previous game as well, as we see the Xin Zhao added to the line of bans for GME. Don't want to see the Xin Zhao and Galio combination. Really presents an impressive engagement tool. We might see some other interesting picks coming out of LGTB instead, such as maybe Hamas coming through. That would be something interesting, or maybe the Rek'Sai as well could come through for LGTB.
It could be the play for us. And, well, have to make a decision on what it is they want to lock in first and save for their very last pick. The Seraphine already came in. So do they want it to be a jungler? Do they want it to be their top laner? We're about to find out here very, very shortly. We've, of course, already seen a pop off with the jungle. That was with the Kindred. This time, they're going to run it with the Rengar for us here, Midget Cow.
We go from cat to even bigger cat, with the Kindred being upgraded to the Rengar. And Rengar is going to prowl through that jungle. And if League of Udyr has a performance like last game, this Rengar is going to be obliterating people on the face of the map.
Oh, you love to see the Rengar coming on through for us, but what will be the response? It looks like Let's Get This Bread. They want to also bring some more damage. They got some engage here with the top lane and the Kled, also great dueling potential. And then you got the Karthus, who doesn't do the best in towards the Rengar, but will be able to at least punish maybe some of the laners that get low with the Requiem, as the Aurelia being hovered here at the moment for the last pick.
Oh, the Aurelia was not banned this game. We are going to see the Aurelia picked for the mid gap that was displayed last game. Aurelia into Galio being incredibly Aurelia favored. This could be disastrous for the Karthus, particularly because the Rengar and the Aurelia are going to form excellent invade to. They are going to go in. They're going to find that Karthus. They're going to cut them up like paper, and they're just going to say thank you for the 300 gold, and then they're going to come back. They will do it again and again and again.
And going in towards this game, I mean, we have to bring up the fact again that there has been a swap up between, some of the actual positions here with mid swapping down in towards that bot side. And now having someone in towards this mid lane, using this Galio for some global pressure in towards the side lanes, being able to follow up on towards this Karthus. I feel like you're kind of in the same situation you were last time where you're waiting to come online, but this composition with the Kog'Maw Lulu and then the Seraphine, as if one enchanter was not enough, is going to be so much more difficult to deal with as we get in towards this mid game, and you really do have to kind of layer this CC, which you don't have a ton of unless Rel's really getting on top of your Kog'Maw here. So this is really, I think, on let's get this bread to have a much stronger early game. Make sure that this Kog'Maw Lulu lane does not get to a point where they come online and start to take over like they did in towards that game number one there for us.
Absolutely, and particularly with the Seraphine as well to back it up this time.
Yeah.
There's just going to be an absolutely massive shielding and healing coming out of GME. Their engage, though, is pretty weak. We're really looking at the Encore from the Seraphine as our only big forms of engage, or Rengar just kind of throwing himself in there bodily and getting wild growth potentially. But that said, Seraphine's Encore with Rengar in stealth is a pretty long range, effective tool for engagement. GME could certainly leverage these things and utilize them to make something happen. But LGTB, their ease of execution for this composition is so high. You've got
Yes.
Rel, you've got Kled, you've got Galio. All these things just kind of press R in your general direction on top of each other, and your team is going to go splat.
It's very true. Any of those targets get locked down. That's definitely the problem. And I think the big key though this time around is like even if you do get the Kog'Maw, I mean, we're gonna see things kind of maybe unravel with this Aurelia, who is also able to kind of put herself maybe in a position where it can be really difficult to deal with someone like this. The Rengar jumping in towards the back line, it can be pretty hard to save some of your carries in a lot of these positions. So yeah, I think I'm on the same page as you. As you need to go and need to layer that CC, you need to find kills right away because if it's an extended fight with a Lulu Seraphine, there's probably a high chance that you're not coming out on top with it. So looking to see how things can play a little bit different and just to kind of also lay things out for as far as this particular series, this is play-ins to get in towards the qualifiers here for Open Unstoppable. So a lot on the line here for let's get this bread to ice up and try and get things towards the game number 3 as well.
It's particularly interesting as, typically speaking, when you have a Karthus and you have a Samira, your team is heavily favored in a team fight as the team fight goes longer. However, up against the Lulu or the Seraphine and the Kog'Maw, these threats can actually deal with the damage output that comes out of these champions and just shield through it, deal more damage, and not care that your Karthus is staying there laying waste to your entire team, or that Samira is utilizing those flourishes and just trying to spin around with her Inferno trigger. Uh, you're not going to be able to challenge in an open team fight like this unless you're able to set up those mosh pits of CC between Galio and Rel and Kled, all just gallivanting in. And much like TFT, where we see Rel and Kled paired together for their Cavalier status, here LGTB is looking to get them on their steeds, rampaging into the back line of GME and breaking apart those team fights so that the Kog'Maw can't find his friends Lulu and Seraphine and continue to output team 6.
Well, ladies and gents, coming down to this game number 2. A lot of pressure here on the side of let's get this bread. They got just about 0 objectives last time around in towards that game number 1, but with a different draft, a different composition. They're looking to shake some things up and see if they can come away with a dub and get us towards a game number 3. So we're going to throw things to a short little break. Don't go too far. I'll be right back after this. Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 2 is here. Let's get this bread up against Grand Museum Exhibit to see who, in fact, can come out here with the dub. Already 1-0 up is GME, as they've had themselves a very nice start, coming out with a pretty dominating game number 1. But now we'll see what ends up unraveling for game number 2 here for us, Cow, as it might just be a level 1 invade taking place.
I love seeing this come out of LGTB here. Lose game 1 and immediately make an invade happen, find AP Buggy, get their flash, and walk out scot-free. Hopefully they leave behind a few wards here for some extra information, given that they did not go with their normal setup and accidentally have a ward placed on blue buff, so they won't know exactly what's going on here. They've picked up Lulu's flash in what should be a highly aggressive lane with the Rel and Samira laning into that Cogmon and Lulu, and really just love seeing this opener come through.
I'm absolutely on the same page. I feel like you can move in here. It was a bit of a misplay where you didn't have someone covering this one opening in towards the jungle, and now you got to punish for it. And now it's actually about punishing that fully, as you talk about with this insane combination of the Rel Samira. Can they come out with a kill maybe on towards AP Buggy, especially early on? That's where you're looking to try and find some kind of success here for us, as it will be a different start this time around. It looks like leashless here, at least for the Karthus in towards the blue side. Meanwhile, you got the leash kind of coming in the same way here for us, in towards the Rengar, starting on towards this blue buff.
Yeah, we see the bush setup. Are they going to be able to make this happen?
Oh, they want to. They want to. Oh. There's the CC. AP Buggy. No flash available, but there is a heal. Outrage going to try and zone them away. They don't come out with a kill, and well, But RU also takes quite a bit of damage in return, so they don't get the kill, and the Ignite does get burned.
The dismount just absolutely massive from Kava's. The Pyromancy Crashdown gonna slaughter both of them, get that stun. Really, really excited to see this from Kava's, as their Zoe play last game was pretty dissatisfying, honestly. And already this Rel has had 2 Crashdowns and 2 stuns.
Kavos may be a little bit more comfortable, looking a lot more comfortable. There is the knock-up. Don't have the level 2, though, so they don't exactly have a whole lot to threaten pressure. They will be zoned away, and now they lose all of that lane priority. So maybe moving up a little bit too far in the lane and miss a lot of this XP is now going to cost them here at this very moment.
Outrage was able to sneak in level 2 because AP Buggy walked away for a little bit, and that level 2 for the Kog'Maw was enough to fight off the Nishan of the Samira and Rel while they were still level 1, which is really going to help stabilize this lane, but there's still more action to come down here as the health bars are blinking red and Karthus is in the air.
This is definitely one of those moments where you were wishing you were level 6 already and you could just farm your camps, press R, come away with a couple of kills, you know, get back in the base and get that first item locked in. Every Karthus' dream, but not the case right now. Would have to come and make an appearance if he wants to come out, and the Ignite's actually going to be burned on towards Kavos. So they do pressure them out here again, able to create a bit of space and some zoning. AP Buggy even looking to come away with a little bit of damage, but they flash on him. AP Buggy is low. Vlad, are you? Can he come out with the kill? It's going to be the Rel, but he flashes perfectly in Outrage. He can't get to him. He just falls short. He will come away with 1, but luckily just able to escape here will be the Samira.
Meanwhile, on the top lane, we saw Myopia get ganked by League of Udyr and was able to escape without even getting dismounted on the lead, really putting on an excellent performance there. And unlike last game where League of Udyr sat around patient, goodbye Kog'Maw, you can't recall there. Unlike last game where League of Udyr sat around patiently for their ganks, they just recalled immediately and let Myopia continue to snowball out this wave into Chinky.
Good start this time around. Blue side looking to favor both of these squads, at least in towards the early stages. Myopia, as you touch on, going to be able to shove this wave in. Pachinki, with a nice CS lead, has been able to build himself up, just 4, but will also be able to collect this entire wave, and every single CS he collects, that will put him ahead slightly. So a good start this time around on something that can actually contest his lane opponent. Myopia, unfortunately, also taking a tower shot here in the miniature exchanges. He's just trying to shove this wave all the way in under tower.
Yeah, and the Aurelia versus Kled here is going to be rather Aurelia-sided in the early stages of this matchup, but as Kled puts together more items, Aurelia is going to slowly but surely fall off into this lane, as Kled's Bear Trap on the rope is just very powerful here, limiting the amount of health that Aurelia gets back during skirmishes and limiting the amount of health that she can get back during wave fights. Additionally, the Kled just naturally has a stronger matchup into her with stronger auto attacks than Aurelia has before she has the 5 stars up.
We do see Rengar looking for a bit of a lane gank in towards the bot lane, and there's the engage. So League of Udyr waits the pounce, and there is the pounce. Comes through with the damage. Can they trade one back over? Outrageous low. Rel just needs one more auto to get there, and the burn from the ignite will secure the kill, but Kavos will drop 2 outrage here for a 2-for-1 exchange. Top lane.
For the Rengar.
Ooh, that was a nice stun. That's actually maybe a 1 versus 2 outplay. He's going to go back in with a flash. Comes out with it. Maybe even a 1 versus 2. We'll be able to stall for a quick moment, but the Karthus Q is a little too much to handle. Can he kite out? Can he get away? Myopia desperately wants the trade. The stun will land. Can he get over towards the minions? That will be the question. Able to get the heal. Dashing in and around. Aurelia all over the map. The autos come down, but Myopia just barely gets the trade.
Really fantastic play by Pachinki there. Really needed to just go back in as soon as that dismount happened, and he landed that second stun. It was looking so good for him to clean up the kill on Myopia, and then Myopia just closes him out with the melon tendencies as it comes back up and shuts the door on that 2v1 outplay.
That is Aurelia. Man, just never can underestimate that champion's kid, no matter the numbers advantage that you do have. And we get a quick glimpse of why there, just from a nice performance here. Pachinki now in a good position to maybe put more pressure on towards Myopia here and towards the top lane now that he's actually on something that he could be impactful with. We take a look at the mid lane, and Chase, of course, on this Seraphine, not going to be as nearly as strong as he was last game when he was, of course, on towards that Victor. This time he's going to need a lot more time in general to really scale up and actually be effective. We will see Wench, though, able to at least hold his own so far on this Galio, but hasn't really found any moments to look for plays onto the side lane, as we'll see a gank in the mid lane, but should just be a little damage going through.
Yeah, and honestly, the Seraphine and Galio matchup, they should just both be relatively scaling well alongside each other. Neither of them really have the tools to secure a kill without outside assistance. Both of them have excellent game setup, so either of them could get a kill on the other if they're out of position.
Sure.
With the assistance of their jungler. However, it's not nearly as volatile as, say, this bottom lane was. Just doing his thing.
Yeah, goes in, able to at least get a summoner out. The Karthus ultimate is used, so with the Requiem coming on through, it will push them back for a quick moment, but that's not going to stop League of Udyr hanging around for a quick moment as we look towards the top lane. Little scrap, but the directed camera goes back and forth, looking to go on Samira again. Vlad, are you very, very low? The ignite comes down, and League of Udyr might just end up dying. He has to heal. The shield might just be there to save him, and everyone will escape with their lives.
And you can really see the experience that League of Udyr has on this champion as he's utilizing everything in his kit in order to stay alive. The Battle Roar, getting back some of that percentage HP based on what lost previously, making sure that he needs to jump to those minions to get that tiny bit of lifesteal with that ignite ticking away on him. Really fantastic Rengar performance so far, in line with their Kindred performance from the previous game, and already has those 2 stacks of the Bone Tooth necklace, giving him 4% bonus attack damage. Going to be leading towards a lot of potential attack damage if they can get the rest of the stacks put together here, as they are almost done with their Eclipse with the Serrated Dirk and Vampiric Scepter in inventory.
Ooh, a lot of damage here. Little Wench is gonna maybe have to call a reset and get himself back out on towards the map here as he's chunked pretty low. League of Udyr will be pinged and spotted out in towards this bot river as he looks to maybe move in towards this red quadrant, set up a little bit of vision, or just do some scouting and figure out how and where this Karthus is exactly at this point in time. And well, this Karthus is already level 8, exactly what we expect. Just the hard farming, but this could be a play. League of Udyr spots him out, locks him down with the boa. One more jump should get there. There is the auto, and even flashes through with the outplay. Thrill of the Hunt will get him to safety.
That is one more tooth for the necklace as League of Udyr just slinks on away into the night. Just his own control. Does not care about the farm difference, does not care about the level difference. He's Rengar, here in a jungle, that's his. It's time for
What a play. Rengar doing things like this, building up leads and coming away with already quite a few passive stacks is a good position to be in. A very similar one last game on the Kindred, to say the least, as you will see a bear trap on a rope. Pull back the Chinky here for a very quick moment, but there is the ultimate, trying to get himself in towards to do some damage, but doesn't exactly have a lot to offer, but the boa will land, and that's just going to force out the ultimate here. So charge is gone, but at least able to relieve a bit of pressure on towards his Aurelia.
Aurelia's worst nemesis being built up by Myopia's Kled, the Bramble Vest in his inventory. He's also looking to go towards more of a tank-oriented build with the Bonnie Cinder. Also probably going to be looking to build up that Turbo Chem tank in order to really put the screws on his opponents as he's able to move around the map incredibly quickly and make those engages happen. But Uli and Voodoo are looking for this regang, potentially trying to break open this lane and make it so that Pachiki can start playing the game once again.
Well, we will see the thrill of the hunt back up and utilized here, but Myopia will have the flash still available. So the ultimate is gone, the flash is gone, and Myopia, I'm sure, sick and tired of these ganks coming on through to his lane.
Yeah, and unfortunately for League of Voodoo, he really wants to get this kill onto Myopia so he can get his 4th stack of the Bone Tooth Necklace for an additional 7% bonus attack damage. However, Myopia is playing incredibly safe. They built a lot of armor and health. They're going to have a great time against these two attack damage-oriented champions. But while Karthus is picking up camps, he's picking up the dragon, doing a great job securing objectives and just generally scaling. League of Udyr has finished their Eclipse already, along with the Moonstone Renewer for Chase's Seraphine in the mid lane. With these two mythics coming online around 12 minutes into the game, they're really so far ahead of their opponents who are just sitting on components. They can do whatever they want on the map at this point, as long as their team is able to come and follow them up.
Oh, all in. The Chinky could be in some trouble right now. Trying to get the heals off. Goes back in with the Q. The outplay is not there. Myopia again shuts him down for the solo kill.
And unfortunately, the Requiem pop by Zek is not going to be a contributor to this kill, so he will not be able to continue scaling off that. Myopia wanted to pick that one up for themselves before Pachiki managed to knock them down. And really, just it hurts to see the Aurelia going in for that all-in against the Kled.
Kavos, though, is going to be taken out of the picture. Here comes the TPs. Mid laner able to find a nice knock-up on towards a couple, or rather the taunt. Here comes Aurelia back through, but Chinky able to land the stun, but can't follow it up under tower. Outrage now just looking to put out the damage, and the Encore finds 2, pulls them back in, but no more kills will fall as all 5 players are in the bot lane for GME, and they're looking for a dive. Could just be a kill on towards the Karthus. Outrage is low. Will maybe escape with his life, but League of Udyr will not, as he will be taken out.
And this is huge for GME. They managed to get a lot of kills onto their Kog'Maw. Outrage now has 2,000 gold in his pocket. He's going to be able to go back, finish up his mythic item, and this is really the power of having your mythics done before your opponents have their mythics done. When these fights break out.
Another engage, though. Plat RU is going to drop.
Oh,
Can
no.
it be a double? The Seraphine going to give them the heals, and Kavos means he can't clean up anything, and the Outrage will run him down like a dog he is, finding the kill, able to come out with a 5-2 scoreline after all of the bot lane pressure. Mid lane, not done either. The Janky low, but won't commit for the kill.
And just as we want a breath to speak, more fights continue to break out across the map. This game has been absolutely action-packed. 15 kills in 14 minutes. We're up over that kill a minute mark. And the initial shield, though, has come through from Outrage, as he knows that he needs to stay immortal in these fights with the help of his Seraphine and Lulu if they want to continue to win them in this fashion.
Oh, man. Looking at what is just about an even game, really. Only about 400 or 500 gold, so really not too big of a difference whatsoever. Very, very close, but the problem, as you've highlighted, the spot lane. Looking at what is going to be an Immortal Shield Bow, Kog'Maw has the shielding from a Lulu, shielding from a Seraphine. I mean, shielding just keeps stacking up and up and up, and it becomes very difficult to deal with as this game goes longer and longer. And you're also starting to see Myopia actually take some control in towards the top lane. He's got so much so much armor right now. And now we'll see a fight actually over this Rift Herald, as that will be the heroic entrance that forces out the Rengar. But the Thrill the Hunt is still online, and League of Udyr finds the angle to collapse, and it might just be a second. Chase is low, has to try and run away, but he's got nowhere to run to. 3 members looking to try and hunt him down for a kill, and now the charge into the top lane. Might just find a kill, but the route is perfect. Myopia can't find anything, but Letter U will finally take down Chase.
Yeah, they really wanted to get... Oh.
They're not done. They're going for more, and the time is there. Myopia able to land yet another kill for the 3rd of the game.
Myopia really wants to win this game. They felt really strong in the last game. Really put on an excellent performance. This game, they are running the house with this Kled. 3-0-0, Sunfire Aegis complete. Looking to finish up the Steel Cap Greaves to go with their Bramble Vest. Just make sure that all of these auto attackers from the side of GME are just unable to kill them as they come into these fights. That said, League of Udyr has just been hunting, uncontested in the jungle, and has been murdering anything that comes into his sights. Able to escape unscathed there with some really finessed play with speed buffs. Unfortunately, though, Chase has to go. And, man, ooh, all right. You're gonna see the Rift Herald employed here in order to take down the mid tower. I really like this play. The first time that the mid tower will fall for the side of LGTB, and that is going to give them a large amount of control headed towards this second dragon, so that hopefully they are able to contest this area despite their lack of vision.
AP Buggy, he is a little out of position right now, and he will have to use the polymorph on towards Myopia, but Wild Growth also invested. That means it's not there for Outrage, but the fight on the side, League of Udyr trying to finesse, bouncing all around. The Encore able to line up too, but can any kills follow? That is the problem. The shielding still there as the fight is scattered, but the dragon also on the table. Karthus is down. That will be Kog'Maw with a second. The damage is in from the Galio. Can he clean up the fight? He will try to move in, but League of Udyr will deny him the opportunity. And now GME put all their focus on hunting down the players, securing the dragon, and coming out with a massive W as they'll run down a 3rd. K-Boss can't find the engage. The support is in. The shielding is out, and you can't kill anything. There is the ace. The dragon on top of it, and GME, they are right back in the game.
Udyr was just surviving with like less than 50 HP for half of that fight. Popped the ultimate to get an extra jump onto the dragon, and then jump from the dragon to the rest of the team, smite the dragon. Oh my goodness, what crazy Rengar play to stay alive there. The amount of shielding and healing that you mentioned from the Seraphine and the Lulu, with the Shirelias and the Moonstone completed, absolutely disgusting. Just keeping everyone alive for so long, and meanwhile Outrage was so fed that he soloed Myopia's Kled on the side of the fight. Oh my goodness. It looks like there's going to be some real trouble coming through for the rest of this game for LGTB, as this Kog'Maw is already finished their Ginzu's Rageblade and is absolutely massive at this point.
What a game we got in our hands right now. Mijikawa looking good. 2,000 gold lead here. Now in favor of GME as they come out with a team fight. Items coming on through. Online is this composition. Myopia, who's trying to create some pressure on towards the side lane, will be matched by that Lulu Kog'Maw duo, and will have to very much back away. But meanwhile, you can also look to pressure out the other side of the map, as Lucy K-Boss as well as Ladder move in, clear out some vision for themselves. Double pink wards are down, and that's going to give them at least some security to start pushing out here and towards the side, and maybe start to also rotate in and around the map here with their teammates.
And for anyone joining us in the middle of the series, we are in Game 2 of our best of 3 after GMA won Game 1 here in our Esports League. And I'm Mijikawa here with my co-caster Visions as we follow these teams towards claiming one of the last spots for the playoffs.
Oh, and well, the action just about ramps up perfectly. The heroic entrance is there. The CC follows. Outrage is taunted. He can barely even move, but he's still got the autos, and he flashes away to safety. Little Witch able to come away with a shutdown and finds himself one. League of Udyr in the mid lane. 1-for-1 as it's chaos across Summoner's Rift and will result in an overall 3-for-3.
These fights are just chaos all over the map. just constantly breaking out. Everyone looking for an advantage wherever they can find one. Only a 1,000 gold gap despite the 6 kill differential and the dragon differential being on the side of GME. And GME really are just, they're trying to take the small gold advantage they have and buoy it into something more, but every time they go for another play, something like this happens and Kuchiki gets caught out in the side lane and just is unable to find anything.
Oh, the Samira absolutely runs her down. The Inferno trigger, a lot of damage to come on through, and that's going to be a big pickup here on towards the Aurelia, able to punish him for just going a little bit too deep in towards this side lane, and now we'll see exactly what they can come out with. Doesn't look like they're going to come away with an objective, but this mid lane currently being eyed up right now from Kog'Maw Lulu.
And the wards just really aren't there from GME to make these forward aggressive movement. They have a few wards scattered around towards the Dragon Pit, but really their top side of the jungle and the entire river itself is just a whole field of darkness. There are a few wards from LGTB towards that Baron side. We do have some pinks to try and control the upper half of that river, but overall it's darkness on the map for both teams, and that's why we keep seeing all of these chaotic fights, because they're walking around a corner and they're suddenly getting a jump scare from the opposing team, and then they call in all of these global ultimates to come help them out because they had no idea that there was going to be someone waiting around the corner to greet them.
Well, gold lead back to even. That 2,000 gold lead that was there a couple minutes ago no longer existent. As we'll see Chase make his way in the top lane. Support behind him here from his top laner. Bachanki will come on through. Little Wench has a lot of cooldowns right now on all his abilities as they'll find a good amount of damage. And there's the Encore. Almost gets the Karthus. Just falls short as everyone else starts to rotate up in towards the top side of the map. But don't believe anything else is going to be breaking out.
And honestly, the Aurelia is very weak at this point. She only has the Blade of the Ruin King. She's trying to build towards what looks like an Immortal Shield Bow with her Noon Quiver and her Vampiric Scepter. But with the state that everyone else is in from the amount of kills that have flown across the map, she's just so much further behind than every other champion. She's just trying to leverage her base kit strength in order to actually make things happen here. And this mid lane tower has been a thorn in the side for GME as they look towards picking up this dragon, just seemingly uncontested.
Yeah, they're not in position for it. That has been a big problem around the Dragon so far in this series. And the TP is also used, but it will find zero investment for as far as the play. Not what you want to see. A big cooldown that the Gallia will no longer have, but luckily still at least able to use the global here with the heroic entrance. And this Kog'Maw Lulu, they've just been on the side lane here so many times as we transition into towards this mid game, which is starting to get more and more interesting, almost baiting maybe players in towards what could be a fight here with the Rengar usage of that Thrill of the Hunt. Can look to enter in towards a fight at any given time as long as he is close. But now everyone takes a reset here on towards the map. GME want to get back out here and get some items purchased, and now 3 items locked in here for Outrage.
Oh my goodness, he picks up the Runan's Hurricane, which is going to be absolutely fantastic into the triple melee frontline coming through from LGTB, allowing him to cut through all of them at the same time. Meanwhile, we see Ludir pick up Essence Weaver on the Rengar, a new choice for this champion based on some of the new itemization choices that come out this season. Really going to allow him to explode the Karthus and explode the Samira when he finds access to those targets through the Thrill of the Hunt. Definitely looking to make these things happen as Bachanki is fighting Myopia on the top lane.
Yeah, it looks like a fight, but isn't really. Myopia, I mean, made that look so easy as all of his armor, he is 3 levels up over his lane opponent. And that is something that I don't think can no longer be matched any longer going forward. Bachanki really starting to struggle in towards that top lane 1v1.
Absolutely, and I believe in the Smash world we call this, did he just walk up and down Smash you? The Kled just kind of rolls on up to the Aurelia, says, hello, I have a raptor that's a lizard, and you don't, so you're going to lose this fight because I'm just better.
Ooh, League of Udyr, a little too far there on the Thrill of the Hunt. Has to flash out, but does get a lot of damage down. You can see it. Flat are you just barely surviving there with about 100 HP for himself. But Outrage, we've been hyping up this Kog'Maw Lulu, and now it's time to fire away. Look at the turret go! Finds himself a kill, running down with the flash, just barely escaping will be the Samira with the reset, but This could be a second one coming on in. The shield bow is procced. The artillery are coming on through. A shutdown is secured. The Requiem might just be coming on out, but will it even find anything? And instead will be held another 2-0 in favor of GME.
Having flashbacks to game one visions, Outrage just hits the Nas button, goes forward, flashes forward under the tower, and oh my goodness.
No way. League of Udyr, man. He just finesses every single time. Again, he gets out with his life. This should be illegal. Talking about illegal right now, Myopia caught out of position and will be forced down. And that will force him to also back away, but Outrage might just be caught. The taunt not going to come on through. The polymorph is there on towards one. Following it up, Outrage, he's just running at them. Will get knocked up, followed here by the Storm, locking him down for a quick moment. Can they find the kill? Outrage is still alive and finally will pop to the Requiem as Karthus secures the double kill, and everyone will drop except for League of Udyr.
Oh my goodness, the Requiem just ends them. Absolute destruction. The Void Staff was just completed by the Karthus. No one expected that kind of damage to be coming out of him, and dropped them like every champion is dead. Whew. What a fight.
What a game. This is absolutely wild right now. Just so many scrappy moments that could honestly just turn on a knife's edge for any given team. And I mean, you're starting to see a problem. Even when they find this kill on towards the Kog'Maw, you saw what he did beforehand. This Kog'Maw was just running at them, leading the charge in towards a 3-tank composition. And tanks that, when they get on you, are really difficult to deal with, like this Galio and this Rel, this Kled, but no fear for Outrage, or maybe it's just pure trust from his teammates with all of the shields that are still allowing this team comp to be able to scale up and be that much more devastating. But we eye up here about 35 seconds away. This could be a soul point, a infernal soul for the side of GME if they can lock it down.
And GME just really lacking in the vision around this dragon as they struggle to really retake the area. LGTB also lacking in the vision, but at least they have members of their team there to utilize as moving wards. This is really strangling GME off of the position towards this dragon with 10 seconds on it to spawn. They're nowhere in sight for the most part, just kind of grouped up in mid lane. I'd like to see them either push down mid lane and utilize that to try and rotate, or they're just going to start a fight.
Or they're just going to start a fight and go. Can they find the Kog'Maw? The Kog'Maw's knocked up for a quick second by Myopia. Can't really get onto him in the backline. But Janky will also drop down as he's the first one to fall in the fight. And now it's the Samira resets, finding a double. Might just be a triple, but it's stolen away for a double of the Karthus. And this is going to be the only one remaining, and Outrage can't do anything. The fight goes the way of let's get this bread.
Oh my goodness, the heroic entrance from Lil Wanch. They brought him from the bottom lane support to the mid laner, and he has shown up absolutely massively. Kavos has done excellently with the role swap as well. This Rel has been nothing like their Zoe performance from last game. Lil Wanch, though, jumps up in the air, falls down on top of 4 people, absolutely sets up the CC to be chained through from every other member of his team, and Plaid RU takes advantage of that with his Samira to just spin around and wreak havoc. We're looking at a potential Baron take here to start breaking open these side lanes, maybe get Myopia into a 1-4 situation as nothing can challenge this Kled in the side lanes, and hopefully break apart the stranglehold that GME has had on this game with their double shielding support composition that has been able to force teamfights across the map.
No, into the pit! No way! League of Udyr steals the Baron away from Let's Get This Bread. I was looking at it, I was eyeing it up, Midget Cal, but I did not think it would be secured.
Never in my wildest dreams did I think that Rengar was just going to hop on in there, utilizing the bush with his, he utilizes the bush to jump onto the pink ward and just casually smites the Baron that's just chilling there at 528 HP. And just like that, GME has turned things on its head again. They are looking to take this Baron and just crush down some of these outer turrets, reestablish a gold lead, and really put this Kog'Maw onto the front lines of combat and just rip apart everything LGTB has to offer with the board of the play of the Ruin King Kog'Maw has just finished up.
Well, they will respect the engage here and back away, so they get themselves to tier 2 and coming out with really any kind of a gold lead here is honestly a massive W because you stole the Baron away. And we can see that gold lead just still barely 100. This is a dead even game. A lot of back and forth that have been taking place. Now there's nothing on the map to really fight for, and can't really imagine there's too much you can do with this Baron at the moment here for the side of GME, as they're just going to really settle for taking away some camps, getting some extra items, and just allowing everyone to get back out on towards the map.
Well, one thing you can do with the Baron is use that excess gold to buy a stopwatch on your Kog'Maw, who really needed to be able to dodge these Karthus ultimates and these CC chains, and that is going to be excellent. Another stopwatch coming through for the Seraphine as well on Chase. Both of these probably going to be focal points for the next fight. Maybe we'll even see Rengar pick up a stopwatch as well. That would be very helpful for him. Just really need something to get them through that initial wave of crowd control that's coming out from the Galio Rel combination. And once they get through that, they can then just start outputting damage and ripping through these tanks, as we do see Myopia has just put up so many different items in their inventory that are so powerful as they push down this mid lane. You're a little bit far up.
Has to flash away. The Requiem isn't have enough damage. It pops him. The Rengar is now deleted. And I mean, are they actually tempting a base race right now? 3 players are still in towards the top lane. 4 players here for Let's Get This Bread in towards the base. They're going to run down the Karthus as he goes in towards Stasis, but the Living Artillery might be enough, or they'll go towards the autos, but look at the base. They got to reset. They got to get back towards the map. It's going to be tried to be held right now from this Aurelia, but here comes Chase. Back in with the Seraphine. They lose themselves 1 Nexus Tower, but what can they get in return? AP Buggy looking to lead the charge right now with Outrage. The Living Artillery is finding damage, and now it's a 3-man encore. They will find all of the kills. A double is secured. Followed it up here with a shutdown, a 4-for-1 as GME run it down the mid lane.
GME are going to the moon. There's 40-second death timers. They're running it down mid lane. Their Baron buff may have ended, but the Baron buff lasted just long enough for them to get the empowered recalls back and make it in time to stop their base from falling down. They have plenty of time on the clock here. About 30 seconds before Myopia spawns, they can absolutely crush through these turrets. They may be able to just win the game here, Visions.
They might try. They might try for it. Right now, the inhibitor will drop. What will be the decision? They will back away. They don't want to risk it, as the timers are just about there. K-Boss right back on towards the map. 7 seconds here on Little Wanchin. You got about 9 here on Myopia. So every single player about to come back out, and we got a dragon spawning in 30 seconds for us, Midget Cow. This is where the last fight could potentially take place here for us.
We got a dragon spawning in less than 30 seconds, and we got Outrage in base on Kog'Maw because he wanted to go back and get his Guardian Angel. AP Buggy gonna go back and give him speed buffs in order to get him to the dragon a little bit faster. But GME have been late to these dragons recently, and there is no vision from either team. This could be disastrous. Whichever team loses this fight could potentially just lose the game off of it with their mid lane inhibitors just down.
Little Wench not here just yet. You can see him in the top lane, as it's going to be. The Infernal started up. The TP comes on through. Living Artillery is being thrown out. Keep your eyes on the Cogwheel, but keep your eyes on the Dragon. Blue team will secure it. And now Liga Moutier is taken very, very low. Will end up dropping. What can the Kog'Maw do? He has the stasis. He has the shielding, but it's just not enough. The Resurrect is in, but it's a triple kill for Karthus, as that is the ace secured. And let's get this bread. Want to get us to a game number 3.
They're absolutely going to take us to a game number 3 here. There's no time for these champions to respawn. They're going to roll down mid lane with their flawless ace, and they are going to say, I see your last tower, I see your Nexus, that's a nice little plus 50 gold. Maybe we'll give that to our Samira because she is done scaling. We are done scaling, and we are going to be going to that game number 3.
The Nexus will explode. So back and forth, even as the game ends. Just 1,000 gold separating both of these teams. An absolute banger thus far that has been taking place for us. But we have a decider coming up. And Midget Cow, there were so many moments where either team felt like they could have taken that one. But in the end, finding the Kog'Maw, shutting him down, layering the CC was enough to make sure they locked things up here in game number 2.
Absolutely. You see the sagas of these players as they continue to unfold. Chase was unable to stay deathless. Outrage continued to have crazy performance on the Kog'Maw. League of Meteor had a crazy performance on the Rengar, ending 666, the number of the beastly Rengar. However, on the opposing side, Kavo stepped up to the plate, Wilwan stepped up to the plate, and Myopia and Zeke were able to take them over from third to home.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is one hell of a series for our play-ins to see who can keep on going through open unstoppable heading in towards the playoffs. But for now, we got to get locked and loaded for a game number 3. Don't go too far. You don't want to miss it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Open Unstoppable. This has been one hell of a night. I hope you guys are strapped in and ready to go because we are heading into an absolute banger of a series for a game number 3. Let's Get This Bread just took away a game number 2 after swapping some roles around. They're looking a lot better, at least coming off that last one. And now, Mitch and Cal, we'll see if they can carry any of that heading in towards this game number 3 as we start with the draft.
Absolutely, Visions. And these teams have been putting up epic struggles in these team fights, doing their best with massive AoE ultimates as they dunk down upon each other, utilizing things like the heroic entrance from Galio. And we'll see if these are being taken away. As we do see the Karthus go away, GME did not like having their Requiem written last game and will now be sending that to the Shadow Realm.
Want to get rid of a lot of the champions that have been pretty impressive, and I think they're sick of, like you said, this Kog'Maw Lulu, and it's just been so devastating. The Kindred here from the very first initial game, so just a lot of champions taken off the board that have been utilized so far in towards this series. The only one that hasn't been really has been the Morgana, because that's just been pretty much a go-to ban so far here for GME.
I love to see the Galio ban that really upped the level of execution that LGTB was able to have. Lil Wanch, well known for their Galio play in the bottom lane and occasionally in the mid lane, was playing it in the mid lane. Not sure what they'll go to in game number 3 here, as we have not seen any other mid lane champions out of them before. However, the Lulu being banned away by LGTB is a new target ban that has not come up yet in this series, and potentially leaves open a return to the victor for GME.
It's very likely could be the case for us, as the Varus is actually locked in first, and there's really been no priority on towards Rumble, but LGTB, they have clear priority on what they want as they lock in a Volibear and a Seraphine.
Volibear, first time he's seen off of the ban list, LGTB instantly picks that up. They love to play their Volibear. He is an excellent champion for them. If you're going to ban the Karthus, you might as well get rid of the Volibear too. Zek loves to play that champion. And they also pick up the Seraphine, likely going to go into the hands of Lil Wanch in the mid lane there, giving him a comfort pick as he's in that off-roll position. Whereas GME is answering with the Warren, and honestly, it looks like LGTB is setting up for a really heavy engage comp that GME just may not be able to handle if their ADC is a Varus.
That's actually a great point so far. And I mean, we haven't exactly seen too much of the top laners being picked in the first phase here, but it's going to be a bit of a change up for this third game. Is the Karma going to be the lock in for GME? They want to keep an enchanter on towards the map. They want to change up the 80 carry. So we'll get Varus Karma down in towards the bot lane here for a pretty annoying poke lane to deal with.
Yeah, and the Varus Karma definitely going to be what I would expect to see out of GME. Not expecting to see the Karma sent up towards that top lane or into that mid lane. Much more likely to have it paired with the Varus. Represents a pretty strong lane down in the bottom lane. The Kled being picked up once again for Myopia. Myopia's Kled last game was a treat to watch. Absolutely dominating in that top lane. Did not matter how many ganks were thrown at them, how many players were thrown at them. They just continued to roll over anything in the path, especially with the Sunfire Aegis build, really giving them lane dominance as GMB picks away that Samira.
Samira did become a bit of a problem, as that entire dive composition was just go, go, go. So you want to take at least an 80 carry off the table, and they have a chance to ban 2. But meanwhile, you can also take away what worked in towards that game number 1, and that will be LGTB getting rid of that Victor here, and, well, maybe even a Malzahar, as that actually is the case. They will take away both mid laners here in towards this second phase.
And Jimmy's mid laner not very well known for playing Malzahar, but Chase does occasionally bust out these weird picks, and Malzahar could potentially be one of those picks that they don't want to see because of things like the Volibear and the Kled, which just want to go forward, and Malzahar does a great job at shutting them down. Whereas GME says, we saw your Samira Rel before, you're still looking to put together a bottom lane. We don't know if your sub your sub support Kavos can actually play anything other than Rel, and your Samira Rel was not the greatest thing in lane, but outside of lane, it was disgusting.
Yeah, you could feel the presence on the map by far. And the Kaisa, something that we actually haven't seen really any priority on, will come on through here for us. LGTB now with a chance to be able to flex the Seraphine in towards the mid lane or flex it in towards the bot lane, whatever they would like here, heading in towards what will be their last pick. But GME have to really figure out what they want to bring in towards this composition. It looks like the answer will be a second 80 carry, as they will grab themselves the Lucian.
Yeah, that Lucian picked into the Kled Definitely a pocket pick for Pachinki in the top lane up there. Really likes to play these little off meta champions that can potentially find these angles in the lanes. Lucian top is not something that we've really seen time now after some of the changes to his kit. However, Lucian into Kled is certainly a pretty good matchup, and I believe actually we're going to send the orange to top lane, the Lucian to mid lane. I think that might be a Ribbon jungle coming out at GME, as
Oh
this
my.
is League of Udyr is definitely known for playing the Ribbon jungle from time to time, and the Ribbon jungle is not known for being good. The Ribbon jungle is known for existing. That said, League of Udyr has played absolutely on fire. Their game one performance on Kindred broke the game open. Their game two performance on Rengar looked like it was going to take that game home and end the series, but was shut down by Zeke on that Karthus and the help of Myopia on Led. So if you're going to trust anyone to take that random carry and a random roll and just try to close the game out, League of Udyr on Riven is your man to try and take the series home.
All of the crazy picks that have come on through here for us. We've seen a Scion in the jungle. We've seen the Rengar just absolutely come out and just really cause some insane plays in towards the early stages. And now we get to end on a Riven. And not is it just any Riven jungle game, but this is the deciding game on whether or not you continue to move through the playoffs here. As whoever comes out on this one, ladies and gents, goes in towards that quarterfinal, as this is one of the first plans that we do have lined up for ourselves in Open Unstoppable. I mean, really doesn't get any better than this, Midget Cow, where we've just had banger series, or rather banger map after banger map, now going in towards what will be our third game to see who in fact can actually pull ahead. And it's going to finally be something different. GME have just been relying on this Kog'Maw Lulu, where now you're looking for maybe other players to also step up and carry that torch to the finish line here for you so that you can come away with the W. Might not all be on this Varus Karma to come away with the W.
You know what, Visions? I think I agree with you. The Varus Karma, they're definitely not going to be shouldering that burden to come out with the W. The Varus is more of the setup in this composition. If your Ornn is
Right.
not able to find the perfect engagement, then Varus might be able to find it with the Chains of Corruption. As LGTB really looking to come into GME, but Varus's Chains of Corruption is an excellent disengage tool. That said, LGTB's composition here, I mean, we've got Kaisa Leona, the ease of execution there, S tier. Volibear Kled, you just kind of press R in the general direction of the opponents. And then Seraphine, once you have something in front of her, that Encore range is absolutely monstrous. LGTB, all they have to do is see champions on their screen and press their R's towards the direction of those champions, and they're probably going to have success in their team fights. Whereas GME has drafted some highly mechanical lanes, some highly mechanical champions. I'm really worried for GME coming into this final game, as they are putting a lot on the backs of their prowess as players and their mechanical proficiency in what we see as one of our amateur leagues, where these are not necessarily the things that you're expecting your players to have the S plus levels of mechanics in.
That's actually, a really good point. And you even just to kind of make matters worse in a sense, it's like you're going into a pretty high pressure game. So not only are you having to execute on these mechanical champions, but you're having to do it, on stream in front of casters, in front of viewers, and having to perform against the opposing team that also just took you down in the game number 2 here. So I'm looking at what has to be a pretty successful early game. And I think a lot of that kind of comes on towards this Riven, where we talk about some of these untraditional champions coming in towards the meta for as far as the jungle. That is something that Riot's certainly been pushing so far in towards season 11 with our Morganas and our Rumbles and things like this. But our Riven, I think a lot of people would question. So I'm looking to see at least what this early pathing is going to look like and what early leads you can build out of it. Because I feel like if you're picking this champion, well, you're picking it for a reason. It's got to find a lead. It's got to find some sort of advantage versus Volibear in order to start pressuring in towards this mid game here with the rest of your team composition.
Now, that's a great point. This Riven was directly picked into the Volibear. The Volibear was left open for the first time all series, which means that you had a plan. Apparently, your plan was Riven Jungle, and you are now locking yourself in for your season-defining moment of Riven Jungle into Volibear Jungle. Now, League of Udyr, we've seen in games 1 and 2 that they've had the ability to just put the team on their shoulders and have an excellent time in the early game. I don't necessarily know if Riven is one of those junglers that does that in the early game. If your team doesn't have your presence in the early game, League of Udyr, will they be able to succeed and thrive? Because Zek has not been a slouch. He's been doing an excellent job farming, an excellent job pathing, has the Volibear, incredibly powerful early game jungler in his hands now, and really wants to take it to your team to take this moment for his team and put them forward into the playoffs.
And little Wench, who does end up coming in towards this mid lane role, performed actually pretty decently, with just a mid game swap like that on towards the fly. Held his own versus Chase in that Galio versus Seraphine matchup, where now he is going to be on towards this Seraphine looking to scale up. So Chase actually has, a lot of those same avenues that he did in that first game to maybe look for some early aggression, maybe pull out what could be a couple of these solo kills. I mean, it's been nothing shy of seeing solo kills come through so far in towards this series. It's been an absolute battle between both of these squads for us, and now it's all going to come down to one more game. Let's get this bread bounce back in the game number 2, but Grand Museum Exhibit. They found themselves to win in game number 1 and now need to channel some of that game 1 energy, bring it in towards this game 3, and just throw everything they got. But ladies and gents, we're going to throw things to a break. When we come back, one team is moving on to playoffs. Welcome back, everyone. Game number 3. It is here. Let's get this bread. Grand Museum exhibit. One of them are moving on towards the playoff bracket, and it all comes down to who takes this game.
Yeah, Visions, we are back here. This game is going to be all the marbles. Everything is on the line. There's heat coming in from both teams as they set up for their lines of scrimmage. We do not see that invade that we saw in game 2. We see the players playing more reserved this time, making sure that their bases don't get their flashes taken away for free. And this is going to result in some pretty interesting things for the jungle because the Riven is going to be able to get the start that she wants, and the Volibear is going to get the start that he wants. And that particular line of thinking, I do believe the Volibear comes out pretty heavily ahead, as Riven jungle is not exactly something that we tend to see.
It is not. It is not something that I don't think I've seen this entire season, maybe in seasons past, but I think there's a lot of eyes on League of Udyr, not only because he's playing the Riven, but because he's actually been one of the top performers so far on towards this roster. We can look back on the game number 1, and a huge part of that win came from the Kindred play that he was able to really cement with gank after gank and just coming through with a lot of big openings and great plays. So seeing what he can do on the Riven, I don't doubt him by any means, but certainly has his work cut out for him, as we already see the top lane trading. Myopia had a great game versus the Aurelia last game, and now is looking to replicate that in towards the Ornn.
Yeah, one of the big things we see with the Riven is already utilizing one of the health potion charges below half HP, whereas the Volibear, just completely full HP, does not care about these jungle camps, just casually plowing through them. Riven is really going to struggle during this clear, and she's going to need to make up a lot of this through ganking. Myopia is something that has been a bit of a weakness in terms of getting ganked, but Myopia has been doing a great job staying alive, and they're pressuring Pachinki so hard in this lane matchup with how powerful the Kled is in their hands that I'm wondering if League of Udyr is going to be able to make the impact they need to make in this lane easily enough, or if they're just going to be wasting their time walking up there to try and help Pachinki out.
Chase will be locked up here as he goes for a nice little trade, and the Seraphine's going to feel the pressure of the Lucian, that is for sure. I mean, both solo lanes actually going to feel the pressure of either the Kled or the Lucian here, so seeing who might be able to create an advantage. First, that the Zenith Blade will connect. Givas goes in. Aftershock is going to be proc, so it doesn't take too much damage here, and able to get the Guardian out as well, as we'll see. Adaru coming in with a good amount of damage, but you have to worry about the poke. This is how annoying this lane is. The heal actually forced out just to make sure that that piercing arrow does not find the kill onto the Leona.
Yeah, and really great job from Outrage there, landing his abilities. Really great job from EP Bucky landing their abilities as well. But we see this Scuttle Crab is going to be the first big point of contention.
Ooh, this could be the pick that you need to start things off on the right foot, and the first blood is locked in and secured for Chase.
And meanwhile, Myopia is dismounted, is not going to be able to stick around for a lot of this experience as their wave is being frozen against them by Pachinki because of the threat of League of Udyr being in the area. Oh my goodness, Chase.
Chase is feeling himself right now, Midget Cow. You can see it. I mean, he flashes, but won't be able to find anything for it, and now there's no summoners in towards this melee. And luckily, Myopia is able to get that remount and shove this wave all the way in here. Pending, Chinky really lets him lock up, and actually the wave looks like it will still be frozen, so in a bit of a tough spot, especially knowing that the Riven's on the top side of the map as well.
And the remount came through, but then immediately re-dismounted because they tried to take a lot of tower shots to reset that wave, and Myopia's actually in a difficult position where they're finally down CS to Pachinki.
Earlier, Pachinki is going to go in. The slow does come through. Where they go for the dive. Now to flash the Riven mechanics, able to get the flash out. League of Udyr making another appearance towards that top lane.
Meanwhile, we saw Zeke try to come in down in that bottom lane, not able to actually get anything going despite the wave being so far pushed up. Does get the flash out of the Karma, however, but not really able to get much else, and the health bars are still there, so they'll be able to continue laning pretty safely and potentially pressuring Playin and Kavos even harder.
I am actually feeling for them right now. It's a bot lane. It's just, you're trying to farm, you're just trying to get to the lane, and it feels like you're playing dodgeball here versus the bot lane of Outrage and AP Buggy. Chase with the double buffs, he's going to make sure that Little Wench does not have a fun time while the duration is still in effect right now with the red and blue. Kavos just going to try to come away with a couple of relic procs, get some extra HP here in the health
Chase.
bars. But you mentioned it, Chase, he's looking for maybe aggressive trading, and he's not in a great position to do it. In from behind, the Volibear could look to collapse. The dash is down, and just a matter of can they punish, and it looks like the answer will be no.
Yeah, honestly, the Volibear could have just gotten down on all fours there, hit the Thundering Smash button, utilized their flash, closed the distance, really made something happen on Chase's Lucian. While the dash was down, the flash was down, but didn't want to make that aggressive play, didn't really want to try and force something on the Lucian. And gotta wonder, what are you looking for here, Zeke? What's your go button? When do you try to stem the bleeding that is happening across all of these lanes instead of just trying to get for the Riven? I mean, granted, the Riven jungle is level 4 to your level 5, almost level 6, and has half of your farm, but I don't think the Riven jungle is meant to contend with the Volibear. I think the Riven jungle is intended to just be a champion that League of Udyr plays.
And there's a dragon that is actually picked up, and something we really do have to kind of credit the side of GME is their dragon control throughout just about every single game. When, well, I'm going to hold that thought for a second, as Myopia was maybe looking to get a little aggressive here on towards Pachinki, but won't be able to find the remount as of just yet. But back towards my point, game number 2, they were actually, I'm going to cancel that point again here for Smidgikow, as it looks like the full-on engage comes through, and Pachinki finds himself the solo kill, but the action, it's not done just yet. League of Udyr has Chase with them. They will collapse. The smites are out, but it's going to be League of Udyr who finds himself the first kill of the game.
Chase kindly donates that kill over to his Riven, recognizes his Riven's in a bit of a tough situation where she hasn't been able to farm much. She's just been doing a lot of ganking and helping out her lanes, and this has paid off in dividends. Pachinki has received a solo kill gifted to him by the pressure that was exerted on Myopia earlier. Myopia just plays right into his hands. Does have a nice little CS lead, so it will be able to cushion that kill. However, Pachinki is just looking fantastic on this orange. Did not look so great on the Aurelia last game, but this game is looking like a vitalized monster on orange as we see Chase doing things mid lane.
Ooh, even the flash comes out there. Chase doing good work. Doesn't burn the ignite, so still has a lot of kill pressure. As Outrage will deny the Void Seeker from hitting the caddy. And the caddy hasn't died just yet, so Ladder U still has a chance of being able to get it, but it will now end up dropping. And just look at this pressure, man. You can't even walk up in the lane. As soon as you do, you're going to receive some poke, and this is really the difficulty right now of being Kaisa, and you're already 20 CS down.
They say if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball, but honestly, Karma Mantras are not a ball.
Oh, Chase found a solo kill, and now the action down to the bot lane. League of Udyr is low, and the ignite from K-Boss will finish him off. AP Buggy trying to run into this one, does not have the flash, but the heal is available, and well, they will get themselves out, maybe even return with a bit of damage, but still 3 strong, meaning they will have to back down.
Really just making things happen finally. We see Zeke come down, activate his ability as a Volibear player, jump on top of the enemy team, and stare them all.
Myopia looking for a solo kill. He pulls the trigger, but Jinky, can he outplay this one? He's got no HP, but he's able to find the CC. Can he kite out? He can't, but is it a 1-for-1? It is not. Myopia barely gets out with a sliver of HP.
And the Triumph just barely keeping Myopia alive in the tail end of that engagement. What a crazy dive. Pachinki's flash was absolutely mental to go around the tower and then get the second hit on his ultimate off there. That was crazy, but Myopia just so strong on this. Kled just does it dirty to him under the
Ooh, Kled still in a good position, up in CS, but definitely having a bit of difficulty versus the Ornn. Got to give some credit over towards Pachinki, who's been having a tough couple of games, but looking to bring things back this time around. And now this might be a kill. The Solar Flare goes wide, and so is the Zenith Blade. Kavos not looking polished on this Leona, but can Outrage turn this one around? Platter U has to use the Killer Instinct for the shield. Just need a couple more autos to bring this one home, and Outrage will get it with the piercing arrow. Here comes the Ribbon, and well, she's not even needed as Chase looks for more in the mid lane, but it is a 2-for-0 down to the bot side.
Yeah, we see League of Udyr coming to turn his attention down here because he sees Outrage trying to make a play, and honestly, Outrage has been a stellar performer for this team across the whole series. Not what you would expect from a sub. Usually, you expect your sub to not be very synergized with the team. You expect them to not really necessarily show up. But Outrage has been consistently powerful, really doing a great job coming in as their secondary ADC. Just absolutely obliterating every single thing that's thrown at him down in that bottom lane.
Sure.
We do see the Rift Herald getting started up by Zeke here. Some convergence is coming in here as the mid priority is in favor of the Lucian, but I don't know if they're going to be able to stop this because of what Myopia is doing to Pachinki in that top lane.
Ooh, ultimate is forced out. So we'll see this Rift Herald, though. Contested still. Little Wench has that encore very, very soon, but is it soon enough as we will see it go over? And, well, it is going to be picked up. No Challenger Smite available on that one either. You can see it being pinged and just barely escaping with it, but the Rift Herald will be stolen away. It's a nice leash, and you're still feeling this pressure right now in this Volibear where you haven't been able to get a whole lot done so far.
And usually you see Volibear absolutely dominating in the early game. Why we see him dominate in terms of farm and build up a pretty sizable gold lead between him and his counterpart on the opposing team, we don't see him actually translating that into any kind of objective focus or really helping his team out in any way. The second dragon in the game has spawned now. See some skirmishing. All right,
Clean.
just do a little ribbon thing over the wall. No, it is what it is. You watch box a little bit. You make sure that you can get your broken wings to get over the wall. You're ready to play ribbon.
Whoa! Corrupted Chains with the flash. Plat, are you are gone. And that is Kavos, who's like, well, I left him down there for a second. I thought he was good, but Outrage has the flash and will come and punish with the kill.
Yeah, Outrage out of his mind, and that is what we want to see coming into the final game of the best of the series with both teams tied up neck and neck. Take your Kog'Maw play, bring it to the next level with Varus. They're basically the same champion. You just build some on hit, you just run through the enemy team, and we'll be seeing the second dragon likely picked up right on time for GME as they are looking to go towards that soul once again for the third series.
And we're going to come back to that point that I was making before all the fighting broke out is the dragon control. It has been phenomenal for the side of GME, and now they're in a position where they have two dragons. We're looking at what is going to be the soul coming in here to play, and maybe even soul point if they get the next one. Rift Heralds are dropping down. This goal lead getting bigger and bigger, but it could just be Max. The tower hasn't dropped just yet. League of Udyr very low and tagged up. The ignite down, and the killer instinct from Platter U there for the kill. But can they follow this up on towards Outrage? The setup play just falls short. Seraphine could look to cut off Outrage here, but the Corrupted Chains are up again. Will be a flash. Platter U does not want Outrage to get out with this one, followed by a second flash, and there is 600 gold in the pockets of Platter U as even another one will go over, and well, that's a big fight. Let's get this bread. Find a 3-0.
That was absolutely impeccable. Really needed to see let's get this bread, put something together there. They were starting to get strangled out of the game. We saw wards coming out all across the jungle as we see Chase just trying to get aggressive on Lil Wants, trying to take something away. But these wards that are coming out of GME are something we haven't seen in previous games. We've seen pretty poor vision control from both teams. And finally, we're starting to see attention turn towards the river to get these wards down and make sure that plays like this can happen. The only problem is GME stick around too long on that play and are unable to get out with their lives.
But Chinky right now, just trying to stabilize, has that Bramble picked up for himself, so he's going to have at least a little bit of an easier road for the rest of the laning phase up against Myopia. And he's actually been able to keep CS decently even, so not too bad of a position to be in, but still going to feel this pressure, needs to play weak side and understands his role in this exact game. But just about 15 minutes in towards this one, still looking at a goal lead in favor of GME, as League of Udyr starting to now catch up at least a tad bit for as far as at least some of those items, but still feeling the overall presence of this clear from Volibear has been able to keep a nice edge for the levels here in this 1 versus 1. But we look back towards the bot side, Outrage, AP Buggy looking to do what they've been doing all lane, that is harass the laners the best they can and poke away as they see fit.
Yeah, we see the first mythic item starting to come through here. The Gale Force for the Lucian utilized to make some punishing trades in that mid lane. Turbo Chem Tank coming through for the Volibear. Make sure that those engages happen swifter. Sunfire Aegis is already completed for the Kled, so he will have
Flash.
massive priority. Ooh.
Oh, that's a kill. Liga Moutier gets the triumph and gets out with his life, but will there be a trade kill? Chase has to eat the charge as Myopia's in a 1 versus 4. TP will make it a 1 versus 5, and Myopia can't even move, but the volley bear comes through, and it's a little bit too late. It's a 3-4-0. Will there be more on the table as it's going to be K-Boss on the chopping block? Will the calling finish him off? Yes, it will. A 4-0 for GME.
Meanwhile, Playin is doing his best double lip impression in the side lane, farming it up, saying, team, what's going on? Why are you all dead? How'd you all die randomly in the middle of nowhere? And Outrage packing the TP is going to even be able to pick up all this farm to add insult to injury, really just cementing the lead that GME has here. They're just in such a commanding position going into this game that they very well may be able to take this lead, snowball it into an advantage around the Dragon area coming up in a minute and a half, and finish things out. Despite some issues with how they had to itemize, with which you needed to pick up the Mercury Treads for the team fights, but needing to have Steel Cap exposed for his lane, they're still able to take these disadvantages that they had in lane and turn them into advantages in the team fight area.
K-Boss going to do his best to try and set up this dragon. This is one you desperately need, but your composition is not online. Seraphine doesn't have that first item. Glad building a little bit tanky, might not have the damage to really secure kills on towards something like a chase or an outrage, but you can see the threat now. Liga Moutier is going to make another appearance in towards the top lane. The charge is not up just yet, and the Chanky's been doing an excellent job of baiting this spin. There is the damage to come on through. The locket even picked up as Myopia actually cutting this one out a tad bit. Liga Moutier should move in, and it's instead Bajanki comes out here with a kill with the help of his jungler.
Yeah, Myopia nearly making it back to his remount just because of the sheer amount of health and stats that they have built up on that Kled. However, Pachinki doing a good job to save the Bellows Breath for when that dismount happens in order to have that damage to help finish off the Kled before a remount can occur. But we do see that the lack of damage due to being a under-leveled Riven in the jungle is a real problem for League of Meteor's Riven, as he was not able to get as fed as he necessarily was in the previous games. And most of the gold and kills is landing on his 80 carries, with Chase just massive on this Lucian, and Outrage absolutely massive, with already the Nashor's Tooth Manamune finished on the. We do see the Dragon going to be the focus of attention now that it has finally respawned, with some solid wards coming out from both sides, but mostly defensively. We actually see contest here is probably unlikely, though, as they will probably just try to trade away the Rift Hound here instead.
Yeah, we'll have to trade that away. Not what you want to see. Even the ultimate coming through there for League of Moutier, just to see if maybe someone came along to contest, and well, they make their way right over towards the Rift Trail. They did not want this to go for free.
Oh my god, but
If the Call of the Forge God does get charged up, looking for the knockup, it finds 3. Chasing the damage for the front line is looking good. The flash away from K-Boss, but they want to follow. They want to chase. They want the damage. Myopia in the front line needs to do what he can. The Rift Trail will be secured, but the fight is not looking great. Myopia goes all the way in. Can he get anything? The answer is no. Now might be a 2-for-0, and it is everyone on the run, but one by one they will fall. But Jinky looking to lock up the last one here, as it might just be a 4-for-0, and it is.
Wow, but Jinky, what a lad. The last 2 games really unimpressive on all of his picks, but on this Ornn, he was just flying around. It's multiple multi-man searing charges. Leads off with the Call of the Forge Guard just 1v4. Just absolute monster on this Ornn pick. Why have we not seen you on this before?
AP Buggy in maybe a bit of trouble. You might be forced to take the Killer Instinct over and find the kill, and that is the play. AP Buggy, though, able to survive with his life. Will this be a chase down? I imagine it will be. Hard to outrun a Riven, especially with little to no sums. The flash can't get there, and League of Moutier finds himself kill number 3.
League of Meteor really displaying an excellent mechanical show on this Riven. It did a great job mechanically on the Kindred in the previous game and the Rengar in the previous game. I don't know what to say about Riven in the jungle, other than, I mean, it seems to be working well enough against Zeke's Volibear.
Not something I think that we were expecting to say when we were in the draft. just to really put things in perspective. I mean, this Riven has absolutely taken over in a lot of these cases and has still been doing a great job around the objectives. But this Kled has still been a problem. Myopia has been doing a good job of at least being oppressive and is still difficult to deal with. But Chinky is still feeling that as he's looking to chip away slowly at his health bar and maybe even looking at a dive.
He's gonna die.
Myopia is dismounted, is taking up the tower. Will the knockup come through? It will. One more auto will get it done. But Chinky with the solo kill on the Kled.
Chinky with no health left, no mana left, just does it to him under the tower. Myopia extends a little bit too far. In the meantime, though, the Rift Herald is dropped down mid lane as players had tried to rotate over to Pachinki to help him out in that 1v1. One of the reasons he's really struggling so much in this 1v1 is because he's built up that Lock of the Iron Solari, which is upgraded now into the Reliquary of the Golden Dawn, in order to be more of a presence in the team fights, but his lane potential is just so neutered because he doesn't have a Sunfire Aegis like the Kled. It is really impacting his ability to duel with the Kled. Just Myopia keeps overextending for these poor guys, allowing Pachinki to outplay him underneath the tower. And outplay him he does.
Chase also able to come away with nice little tower at the top side. That's going to be extra gold in his pocket, as well as the global gold to spread across the team. Just trying to really come away with any gold you can at this point in time. Feeling the pressure. You take a look at the items, and there is such a massive difference. But instead, they want to make a play on Chase. He will be locked down. The CC is way too much. He flashes away to his Ornn, but the Ornn can't save him. That is a big shutdown picked up here for Myopia. But here comes AP Buggy backing up this ever god Ornn, who's just been running it down, looking for the engages. Sets up another one, a double knockup. That is the Volibear out of the fight. The damage from Seraphine, though, could be enough to turn it around. Here comes the bot lane. The Zenith Blade will connect, and the fight goes the way of Let's Get This Bread as they look to run down AP Buggy for the ace.
Absolutely massive for Let's Get This Bread. Getting the kills onto their Kaisa, making sure that they wipe the members of GME off the map with the Dragon about to spawn in 45 seconds means that they're probably going to be able to get some set. Oh no, they want the Baron. They just want to go ahead and take this Baron. Their damage may not be there to actually get this in time for when the respawns come through, but if GME don't recognize this and they instead go for the Dragon because it's so point, it's a really tough call to make. They do have a ward there. Oh, they know this is going on. They're not going to get here in time, though.
TPs. Outrage is in. Will it be a steal? It will not be, but can they find kills? Myopia flashes over the wall, but you'll lose the AD carry and the support. 2 players will go down, but it is in trade of the Baron. However, there is no way you're going to be able to contest now what is going to be the soul coming up here.
Infernal Soul. Or sorry, Cloud Soul. This is Cloud Soul. They're going to be able to just take this for free. There's no way that you can fight into a team that's this fed when they're looking for the Cloud Soul. I don't know. I don't know, Visions. Giving Riven Cloud Soul sounds a little bit too risky. Oh, boy. That is going to be one fast Blade World.
It will be. Feels like it'll just be constantly used and never off cooldown, I imagine. And you're looking at items, and, well, you have at least 2.5 right now here for your Kaisa. You got about 2 here available for Little Wench, and I mean, the Seraphine coming online is what you're trying to stall for, but it's going to be so much more difficult to stall when you have great scaling from the Ornn. We're starting to already upgrade some of these items. You can see it on towards Chase. He's got an upgraded Gale Force now. It's going to be a lot more difficult to deal with here. Just himself, who's already been putting on an excellent clinic, has that also grievous wounds here on towards anyone that he ends up hitting. So going to be very difficult to deal with. But with the Baron currently active, there is a bit of pressure at least available right now for Let's Get This Bread.
Yeah, one of the things that GME has really done a great job in this series of doing is making sure that they get their players together for these fights as we see them collapsing onto Myopia and bringing their entire squad up. This is not going to end well for them if they don't get their players up there.
Oh, the Killer Instinct is in. Here comes the Kaisa, but Liga Moutier can't find anything, and the remount is there. Myopia stalls for his team as Pachinki tries to get away, but it's interrupted on the dash. The charge is good to follow it up, and instead, the play goes wrong as it's Let's Get This Bread that come away with a 2-0.
Just as I mentioned what they've been doing well, they just forget their basics, and they do it terribly, and now they're just being collapsed on in all of these lanes. We see that Lil Watch is going to be utilizing the Baron buff on the bottom side to take an outer turret. The outer turret and top side will be picked up by Platter U, and suddenly there's no longer a goal differential between these two teams, despite there being a 10 kill difference. These teams are now neck and neck going into the latter stages of this game, and we see that one team has the scaling potential of a Seraphine and a Kai'Sa, and the other team has the scaling potential of a Lucian.
This is a wild series, and it's just been like this the whole way through. One team gets a lead, and then we just see a team fight go one way, and it's just right back to even for us. 25 minutes in towards this game. There was no objectives on the table for another 3 minutes, which means that we have time to take your breath as well as the players. A chance to be able to set up some macro on towards the map, see if you can create some pressure in towards the side lanes. And the good news here for Let's Get This Bread is that Myopia is really difficult to deal with. We just saw what was a 1 versus 2. He was able to stall long enough for his team to get there and collapse and back him up with the support. So now to even really send resources towards Myopia, knowing that he has these capabilities, this is where things can get difficult, and this is where you can look to use this 3-minute window before objectives spawn to actually find some kind of value on towards the sidelines.
Absolutely, Visions. And one of the things that they've utilized this window to do is get those wards down and get that vision down. We see Let's Get This Bread says, let's get this wards, and drops 3 wards in the jungle over towards GME's side in order to make sure that they know what's going on down around that Elder Pit, as Elder Dragon is going to be the most important objective that's coming up here, as we see a big flank.
Jade, he does cut himself out. The damage is looking good as the calling comes on down. Right in towards the front line. That will be Outrage who finds the first one. Following it up on towards the second. Myopia is going to drop. The shutdown is there. And finally, an engage that works out as it might not be done. Blatteroo has to kite away. Does he have it in him to get himself out? It looks like he does. The killer instinct still available as he has to walk away.
He just, GME groups up, runs down mid lane, and Pachinki finds a nice little flank that's just a little bit too cheeky for them to handle, and this could be...
Still alive in towards this fight. The Encore found a couple of players, but it's still very, very scrappy. It's a 3 versus 5. A lot of low health bars, and the Seraphine can look to keep everyone healthy. Plat Aru waiting to use the killer instinct, but he gets blown up! And that is the 80 carry down. They will pressure for more as it will be a double picked up and everybody will survive. But Volibear wants to come back to with a re-engage. There it is. The Stormbringer comes through. Does he have the damage? He has the damage for 1. Will it be a second? It looks like it's not. He will fall. And now the charge coming back through with yet another re-engage as Pachinki will drop with an overall 4-4-4.
Your fights aren't supposed to last a minute and 20 seconds. Every ultimate has come back up, been used again, and then come back up again for GME with the help of this Cloud Soul as they just cycle through their ultimates and just keep pressuring, forcing onwards into LGTB's base to hit their inhibitor, living on slivers of health. And there's some big things about to be completed for the players here. We look at Outrage, he's got 2 needlessly large rods in inventory. He wants to finish that out. Death cap is about 700 gold away from that, and that could be enough to really just break this AP Varus into the lead here. As we really just are looking towards the biggest moment of this game, with Baron spawning in 20 seconds and 45 seconds away from Elder Dragon, are looking towards the end of this game.
Oh, Magic, what a series this has been, man. You can't say it enough, and you might have to say it again because League of Udyr is not in a good position. Takes the blast gun over the wall. Very, very risky situation to be in, but it could literally come down to this final fight. This Elder, up at about 25 seconds. You have in Soul, Dragon, you have everything you need. The items are here. I mean, look at this Varus right now working towards what will be a death caps. Just double needless large rods here. And you are looking at what, again, could be the last fight of this entire series. Whoever wins it punches a ticket in towards the playoffs. And
we are so out of position.
Final, but they are out of position as this Elder does spawn. We'll see what they can do. Little Wench just trying to stay alive. Keep your eye on towards this Kai'Sa. You're looking for Platteroo to really carry this one out about 3 items as everyone does the Elder dance.
Yeah, we got to see where the Call of Forge Guard goes. Here comes.
Knock up on towards 1. Now back in towards the backline. Myopia trying to come away with a kill, but it's not looking great. The Encore not going to find a whole lot. Myopia is kited out completely, but does he get the remount in time? The answer is no. They have found a kill, but it's a 1-for-1. League of Udyr has dropped. Now in the front line. Pachinko very, very low. Will he drop? He will, but look
Oh,
at Chase. Chase has found everything he needs for the fight. He moves back through for some damage, but is it enough? That will be the Zenith play for the re-engage, but is it enough to find the kill? The answer looks to be no. Volibear has to run away, and the Elder Dragon looks to be good for GME.
GME do such a great job kiting out Myopia in that fight that they're able to buy enough time with League of Hootier's Riven for them to cut down this Kled. And at that point, you only have your Volibear left as a super tank, but he just isn't able to provide the front line to stop Chase's Lucian from getting to that backline and cutting through the backline. LGTB are not playing together as a team in these team fights, and it really shows. They're not really able to utilize the Seraphine the way that GME was able to utilize the Seraphine in the past. They're just not getting that presence from her with the shields, with the healing. And this means that the Baron buff is going to be on all of the carries for GME as they look at this Baron, they look at this open middle lane, and they're really just trying to find a way to close out the game where they don't have just one or two people at blinking health bars at the end of a fight, but instead have 4 or 5 members left with an ace.
Well, the Baron on the table, a chance for a steal. See what Zeke can maybe try to line up. The Encore was just used. That is a really big cooldown to not have available for yourself if you were looking to try and make something happen over by the Baron. And that misplay very well could cost them a very important objective, but it is a 50-50 potentially level up here on
one already.
Here. Looking down at about 4,000 on this Baron. Over the wall, he has
Zeke?
to come, but it's secured here from League of Houtier. And now Zeke, he is caught out in the open. Might end up dropping, and he does. The execute is good as Outrage takes the jungler's life.
Zeke just tries to make that steal happen. He saw League of Houtier make it happen in the previous game, and he's not able to get there.
K-Box.
No.
He is deleted off the map. Midgecow, this is looking like the end. League of Houtier running them down. No fear. Runs in for the kill. Little Wedge has to go in towards the stasis, but the executes are just way too much. As GME, they will find the race. They will find their Game 3 win, and they will punch a ticket to the playoffs.
What an absolutely ridiculous game. 37 kills to 18 kills. There's so many kills on the board here. Oh my goodness, Visions. There's just so much action in this game to cap off what a crazy series we had today.
GME to the moon, baby. That was one hell of a series. I mean, honestly, so much back and forth, so many team fights that could have just honestly turned on a knife's edge, but when it comes down to it, the better team fighting looking good here for the side of GME. They came away with an phenomenal series here for us, Midget Cow, and really you couldn't ask for a better banger to see who is able to stay alive heading in towards playoffs.
Absolutely. Really want to give a shout out to Outrage for putting together the AP virus build, which is not something you typically see, but he correctly recognized that the Kled, Volibear, and Leona were heavily stacking armor into his heavily AD team, and he was able to put out that mixed damage and just really shred through those tanks coming into those fights. All series long, Outrage did an excellent job of being that man in the front who would just kill the tanks, make those front to back team fights happen, and once again just put on a show for us. And Pachinki as well really, really stepped up in this game, and just massive amounts of crowd control coming out of that man's horn. Wherever he was landing the charges, and he was getting those knockups.
He sure was. Absolute banger, man. Couldn't have asked for a better series to see who was able to come out here, but big congratulations. Grand Museum exhibit, just a 3-6 record, but able to maybe see if they can make a dent heading in towards the more important matchups and a chance to be able to keep going on through for some upsets as they have quite the interesting compositions drafted for them from time to time. And well, who would have knew that it would have been the Riven to guide them and help them get towards that victory, along with, of course, everyone playing their part at any given moment throughout this entire series. But that is going to do it for the broadcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed this series because I know I certainly did. And I feel like I can speak for Midget Cow in this instance and say that he certainly did as well because it was a great time. But thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on the next one.